So the agenda for today, the first thing is subscribe to Microsoft Security E5 license. So we need to subscribe to Microsoft Security E5 license, which is trial for 30 days that we need to take. That's the first thing. Second, we need to onboard the environment. When I say environment, our lab VMs that we have created. We need to onboard the environment, lab VMs in the following security solutions. That is the game plan for the entire week. So these are the security solutions in which we are going to onboard the lab environment. The first solution is Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. The second solution is Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And in cloud, the solution that we need to use is CWPP, which is Cloud Workload Protection Platform, wherein your virtual machines will be protected by Defender. Then we need to onboard in Microsoft Defender for Identity. This is primarily meant for our domain controller VM that we have created. We need to onboard Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. This is not where we onboard the VM, but the applications or some controls from Microsoft Defender for Cloud Ops we will control. Then we need to onboard these VMs in Microsoft Sentinel. And this all will collectively make it Microsoft XDR, Extended Detection and Response. There is no separate XDR. It's a collection of solutions that provide a comprehensive security experience. That what is XDR is. So I'll theoretically explain what XDR is. So these are the solutions: Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Cloud, Defender for Identity, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, Microsoft Sentinel, and up to a certain extent, I will also see if I get time to talk about Microsoft Defender 365. We typically call it Microsoft 365 Defender. Microsoft 365 Defender and Microsoft Defender for Vulnerability Management. So these are the solutions that we need to onboard our VMs in. Now the last two solutions, we'll see if we get time, we'll cover those solutions. Otherwise, I will just share some references with you, but these are the solutions that we need to do as a mandatory exercise in this training. Is everyone with me on this? Yes. Okay, so let's understand the bifurcation, which is where. So Microsoft Defender for Cloud is part of Azure portal. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is part of security portal, or you can say M365 Defender portal. I'll put it here. Now let's understand. So we have Azure portal, which is portal.azure.com. And then we have Microsoft Defender portal, which is security.microsoft.com. These are the two portals. Then we also have M365 admin portal. And this admin portal is basically for configuring M365 services, which is Microsoft Office, Microsoft Teams, and other products, which is admin.microsoft.com. So these are the three portals that we have in Microsoft Azure Cloud, and we need to configure the products across these three portals. So if I talk about Microsoft Azure portal, the products that I configure in Azure portal is Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which includes both CSPM, CWPP, file integrity monitoring, user entity and behavior analytics, and other capabilities. That's what we will configure here for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Similarly, the other product that we have, which is Microsoft Sentinel. Sentinel is also part of this Azure portal, and we'll configure it from scene and source perspective, and we'll do some live scenarios. So this is onboard, and the third activity that we need to do is configure the security solution as per best practices. And the fourth one is simulate security incidents. Fifth is discover and remediate security incidents. And when you discover and remediate, the resolution of incidents will be manual as well as manual plus automated. Manual plus automated remediation. So this is the agenda. Not for today, this is the agenda for the current week basically. This is what we are going to do the entire week. So agenda for today as well as for current week. Now the training is going to be a bit difficult. So if you have not kept pace with the session so far in the first week, you probably may find it difficult. And that is where I would expect you to go through the session recordings, which you have access to bring on the same page. Are you with me on this, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we'll start from here. So we'll need to see that what product is available where, right? So Azure portal contains Microsoft Defender for Cloud, Microsoft Sentinel. It has other Microsoft Defender products like Microsoft Defender for external attack surface management. It has Microsoft Defender for IoT, but that is not in the purview of this training, scope of this training. The scope of this training revolves around these two products. Similarly, when it comes to Microsoft Defender portal, the products that are part of Microsoft Defender portal, these are the products. So Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, this one is not part of Defender portal. This is on the Azure portal. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, which is MDE, Microsoft Defender for Identity, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, Microsoft Sentinel. Now, Microsoft Sentinel is common. You can see Microsoft Sentinel is here in the Azure portal, and Microsoft Sentinel is also in the Defender portal. Why Microsoft Sentinel is in Defender portal? Because the XDR part, when I say extended detection and response, so what Azure is doing, Azure is adding XDR capability into this portal, security.microsoft.com. And for XDR, SIEM and SOAR is a critical solution. So now you have Microsoft Sentinel in Azure portal as well as in Defender portal. And you can configure it from anywhere. The configuration is same. And very soon Microsoft will remove Sentinel from here and Microsoft will continue. Microsoft will retain product here. Because if Microsoft needs to promote their XDR capabilities, they will need to include Sentinel permanently from security portal and kind of deprecate it from Azure portal. So Sentinel is common to both the places. Okay. And rest of the products, Microsoft 365 Defender, Now this Microsoft 365 Defender is also part here. In fact, these are collectively known as Microsoft 365 Defender products. So these products are collectively known as Microsoft 365 Defender products, the one that you see here. Now, what product is available from Microsoft 365 Admin Portal? From Microsoft 365 Admin Portal, you basically configure Microsoft Office products. So here you configure Microsoft Teams, you configure Microsoft Office. In fact, Microsoft Office products, which includes Microsoft Exchange also, which is M365 mailboxes and other. So this is what it includes basically. Now they're also outside of the purview of this training. They are not, I'm saying they're not in our scope of this training. Now I've delivered training on all of these Microsoft security products in the past, and I'm in the process of whenever I get some time, I will have those session recordings uploaded on my YouTube channel so that any service that we are not able to cover in detail because of the time constraint that we have with us, you can always see the detailed recording of that on a service detailed training recordings of that service on my channel whenever you get time, or you can drop me a note whenever you are stuck in configuration or you need some guidance. I will definitely respond to you in my spare time, typically in the evening when I'm done with my training sessions. So this is what we are going to do. So please have this agenda, please remember this agenda and just scan this agenda and keep it with yourself because that's what we're going to cover. So we'll go step by step. So first is subscribe to Microsoft Security E5 license, because what happens when you subscribe to E5 license, the capabilities will start to show up slowly and gradually. It doesn't show in the first day. Innocent, are you done with your meeting? It's going on? Okay. Just let me know when you're done because we need to start the lab. They have already built the lab, actually. Okay. So there we go. I present you the portal, the 365 portal here. This is the portal, which is security.microsoft.com. And you see here, it says Microsoft Defender. It just says Microsoft Defender and nothing else. Why? Because they're trying to consolidate everything in Microsoft Defender, or they're trying to consolidate everything under one name, one logo, one tag, which is Microsoft Defender, similar to what they have Microsoft 365. So this is Microsoft Defender. Now you can see on this Microsoft Defender portal, what all products do you have? You have EASM, which is External Attack Surface Management product. You have Endpoints, which is Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. You have Identities, which is Microsoft Defender for Identities. Then this is M365 Defender, which is email security. Then you have Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. So these are the products that you have. Now I don't see Defender for Vulnerability Management. That is part of Endpoint security. So it's here, Defender for Vulnerability Management, right? So this is it. Now anything that is on admin portal, you can navigate to admin portal from here. So there are two options. You can either click on this cube sign, and then here you see admin. You can click on admin, it opens admin portal, or you can directly type admin.microsoft.com and you go to the admin portal, right? This is your admin portal. Now in the admin portal, what you typically see, you can see in admin portal, you see your Microsoft Entra ID. All users that you have in your Microsoft Entra ID, they will also be displayed here. All of those users will be displayed here. You can see guest users also from Entra ID. Any users that was deleted will display here. So all the deleted users, you can see all of these users will display here. You will see all the groups that you have in Entra ID. So admin portal contains a reference of Entra ID. Then you see marketplace. From marketplace, you can subscribe to additional products. Then you will see also the billing. And in billing, you can see your products, your licenses, bill and payments, billing accounts. And then you see setup service. Over here, you set up your exchange, which is set up email with a custom domain, So you get setup information. I'm saying you get a couple of setup tasks wherein that will help you to quickly set up your Microsoft 365 Admin Center. That includes configuration of email mailboxes for users, creation of policies, and creation of common tasks. So that's what M365 admin portal that we typically use for Exchange configuration, as I've written here. So this is Microsoft Office products, Exchange configuration, and we also do. You also have Microsoft Entra ID, identities for the access control, and you also have billing and subscription settings. Subscription settings includes payment and other. Okay, so this is how it is. So this is the portal that you need to be on, the security one, because this is where it contains. In fact, it also contains Sentinel. So the challenge with this portal is, since they are redefining everything, what happens sometimes you lose the capabilities. For example, I don't see Sentinel now. Sentinel is missing here. I don't see it. But if I keep refreshing my page, I will see Sentinel soon here. This is a common issue with the security portal these days, and especially with the trial account. I keep on, looking at these changes. So I don't see Sentinel here right now, but that's okay. I know Sentinel is part of it that I can validate from here. When I go to settings, I'll see all the product which are here. So you can see Microsoft Sentinel. So here you see all the products which are part of this, this portal, which is Microsoft Defender products, Microsoft Defender XDR, Endpoint, which is Defender for Endpoint. This is Microsoft 365 Defender. This is Defender for Identity. This is Device Discovery, which is where you onboard devices, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, and Microsoft Sentinel. So this is where you see everything. In fact, I took a screenshot yesterday just for my record purpose, because I wanted to raise this to Microsoft actually, that the portal is very unpredictable and there are synchronization issues with the portal. So you can see here in this, I took the screenshot around last evening, around 11:13 in the evening, wherein I was not able to see, initially I was not able to see endpoints. Sentinel was missing. Then I refreshed my screen a number of times, and around 11:14 I was able to see Sentinel. And similarly, prior to the screenshot, endpoint was not shown. So when you're not able to see products here, all you need to do is refresh the screen, or sometimes you can sign out and sign back in, and you will start to see the products. So it's a common issue with Defender portal, which Microsoft is currently working to resolve. Are you with me on this, guys?
Yeah, Raghuveer, few times we heard Defender for database, Defender for storage account. What are those terminologies then?
So that Defender is basically here. So this Microsoft Defender for Cloud that you see here, it has CSPM, CWPP capabilities. Under CWPP capabilities, it includes Defender for Server, Defender for SQL DB, Defender for app services, Azure App Service actually, which is PaaS services. It includes Defender for storage accounts, right? And etc. It contains multiple defenders actually. So this is all part of CWPP, which is Cloud Workload Protection Platform, because all of these are cloud workloads. Database is a workload, server or virtual machine is a workload, app services is a workload. So there are multiple Defender offerings. If you want to see those offerings, basically, I'll show you here. So with the same account, I'll log into Azure portal also. Now, why am I able to log in with this Defender everywhere? Because this Defender account, Defender XDR account, with this account, I actually subscribe to Microsoft 365 Microsoft Security E5 license, and this account is also is part of my directory, wherein this account has global admin permissions. So if I go into this account with Defender XDR, over here you will see the Defender products. So when you go to Defender, you can see there are 3 products for Defender. Microsoft Defender EASM. Now this EASM is also part of security portal now. You can see here EASM, which is here, external attack surface. Over here, exposure management, attack surface. So they have included this product here, right? So this product is here.
Yeah.
And this product is also shown here. Very soon it will be deprecated from here. Then Defender for IoT, they have not yet integrated it with security portal. So probably it is there in the plan, but it will take some more time. And this Defender for cloud, this will continue to stay here because it is Defender. This is Defender CSPM and CWPP capability, which will continue to remain here because it is tightly integrated to this. So when I click on this Defender for cloud here, over here, if I go to environment settings, this is how we onboard. So we will do the onboarding part, but I'm just showing you just because you asked this question. So I'm showing you real quick that where exactly you see it. So when you click on Defender plans, you will see all the plans here. Now, since we will go with the, give me a moment. Since we will go with the trial, we will include all the plans here. Now this answers your question. So you see Defender for server, Defender for app service, Defender for database, Defender for storage, Defender for container, Defender for key vault, Defender for resource manager, Defender for API. Now Microsoft is adding more and more workload in this list, or Microsoft is onboarding more and more services to Defender security capability. When they started, you only had servers and storage. Then slowly and gradually they added a PaaS service also, they added database, then they added key vault. Recently they added the support for APIs also. And here you see the cost also, that for Defender for server, there are 2 plans and the higher one costs you $15 per server per month, right? So this is where we are going. So I'm saying probably by EOD today or probably first thing in the morning tomorrow, we will also enable a Defender plan, and then we will enable our lab environment that we have built into Defender. So I also have a lab environment here. You can see I've also built that lab environment here. And if you see in my lab environment, I've got a couple of VMs here. So I've got a separate. So basically, what I've done, I've brought this environment into West US, and if I just and the filter is with the resource group. So over here, you can see this is where I've built everything. So I built this environment into West US, wherein I have Windows 10, Windows 16, 2019, 2022, these 4 VMs that I was asking. So 3 server operating systems, the most popular, most common operating systems. I have intentionally not added 2012 because the configuration remains the same. Whether it is 2012, 2008, R2 configuration is same. So I've added the server versions which are primarily used in most of the customers. So 16, 90, 22 and Windows 10. Now, whether you do it with Windows 10 or 11, it is one and the same thing. Why I have done it like this? Because I have also need to manage that CPU core part. So I'm using 8 CPU cores, which means I still have a probability of creating one more VM. And if I want 10 VMs, then I will, then I will deprecate. Then I will reduce the CPU core of each VM to 1 CPU core. That may have some performance issues, but at least my task will be done. So this is my environment. Are you with me?
Yeah, the last 3 VMs, they are on in the separate subnets also, right? The web one is in the web subnet, app is in the app subnet. Okay. Yeah.
I have tried to create a replica of production environment. Okay. Because in the production environment, you will see the similar behavior. Your web servers, app servers, database servers, they will be spread or they will be segmented in their respective server, or segments, and they will have appropriate NSGs applied to them to restrict the port and traffic communication. So I've tried to emulate a production environment so that when I onboard these security services in, for this environment, I can also simulate some incidents, some security attack, which is which you typically work in your production environment. So for example, you have worked behind the scenes. I'm saying you have worked basically as a consumer of these solutions. When I captured the details from you on day one, most of you have told me that you do this, you work on these solutions, right? But what you have worked on, you have worked as a consumer, which means the solution is already configured. For example, I see all Defender here, all type of Defender products from plus some additional products. But this is more like a consumer. The product was designed, architected, implemented, configured, and optimized by another team, and you're just working as a consumer, which means that you have access to the portal, probably read-only access or some higher level of access, and your job is to just look into this portion. I'm saying you primarily, I'm just anticipating, I'm not 100% saying that you do all this, but you typically are limited to these points, which is incidents and alert. So you have access to this page. Here you see incidents, then you probably do the first level of troubleshooting and forward it to the L2s and L3. Or if you yourself are L2s and L3, then you probably try to fix it. But you don't know that how come these incidents come, how these incidents are generated, what is the logic that is applied in the backend. This is what we are trying to learn in this training. So this training is not for operational aspects. This training is for administration aspects. I hope everyone is on the same page.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. Okay. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So I put the agenda in the chat also so that all of you can take it from there. And I also put you this configuration. And this session transcript, the Word document that I've been maintaining from day one, obviously it does not contain everything that I've covered in the session, but whatever information is there, I will just share it with you on the last day of the training, so that you will always you can also have a ready reference. Okay, great. So the first thing first, subscribe to Microsoft Security E5 license trial for 30 days. So this is what we need to do. How we do it now, since on day one I subscribe for the same trial. So if I go to my portal and if I go to licenses, you will see that I have Microsoft Security E5 trials. If I go to all products here in my portal, you can see I have Microsoft 365 Security and Compliance, or the higher trial. This is the trial that I have, which provides me a total of, if I click on this trial, I'll see the total services which are there. I have a total of 77 services as part of this trial. And these 77 services, I have assigned them all to this user, which is Defender XDR. And that is why with this user, I'm able to navigate to all the portals. In fact, you have some additional portals, which is intune.microsoft.com. This is where you configure the Intune. So intune.microsoft.com is another portal, which is outside of security. Microsoft is planning to integrate it in security portal, but right now it's a separate portal altogether. So this is Intune portal. Now, when you configure the endpoint security, you also take reference of this portal with respect to groups that you create when you configure indicator of compromise. Similarly, there is another portal, which is teams.microsoft.com. On this portal, you basically configure your Microsoft Teams. So if you have access to M365 as part of M365, if you have Microsoft Teams, also Microsoft Teams license, you will come to this portal and here you will configure the Microsoft Teams service. So this is where you basically configure Microsoft Teams. So you have some additional portals also. So the portals are security.microsoft.com, admin.microsoft.com, portal.azure.com, intune.microsoft.com, and then you have this Microsoft Teams portal. Right now, since I've not, admin.teams.com. Admin.teams.com. Okay, no problem. We can go from here. The reason it is not coming because we have not enabled email services. Otherwise, it would have come. That's okay. So these are the portals. Then for your account specific, I'm saying if you want to, for Defender XDR account, if Defender XDR account wants to see what all access it has, So Defender XDR can type myapps.microsoft.com. And with this, Defender XDR would be able to see what all access or what all applications are configured for Defender XDR account. So these are all the applications that you can see that are configured for Defender XDR. But because Defender XDR has access to all these services. Similarly, if Defender XDR wants to see if there is any package that has been configured for him, so Defender XDR can type myaccess.microsoft.com. So there are different portals. My access, okay, I misspelled it. myaccess.microsoft.com. So this is another portal wherein Defender XDR can quickly see if there has been any package that has been created by identity governance admin. Then Defender XDR can access the package here. We'll see all the package which are available. If there is any package, Defender XDR will, just activate that package, which means Defender XDR will get that level of capability from Microsoft services. So these are different portals. Now, myapps.microsoft.com, myaccess.microsoft.com is for Defender XDR. And the remaining three portals are common portals, which is for all the users, which has appropriate licenses to them. So this is how different portals in Microsoft Azure are. Any questions so far, guys? Yes, no, maybe?
I'm a bit confused about Defender XDR, but I think we may talk about it later. Like how
Defender XDR,
is,
yeah. No worries. See what we will do, guys. I'm saying because I know that this, once you subscribe to trial, it takes a couple of hours for those services to start synchronizing. So let's do one thing. Let's first subscribe to the trial so that it will work in the backend and get synchronized. And then we'll talk about the theoretical aspects. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. So the first thing that you all need to do, let's log into this portal, which is my admin.microsoft.com. So just log into admin.microsoft.com portal with the user with which you subscribed to Azure AD Premium P2 license with the same user. If that username is Defender XDR, great. If not, then please sign into this portal with that user. Then I'll tell you what needs to be done. Okay. And while you do this, since I already have subscribed to this product, I have already tested it. I would request one of you to share the screen so that I can guide you and rest of the participants can actually follow the screen and do the same process. So I'll stop sharing here and I need one volunteer.
Yeah, Raghu, I'm sharing screen.
All right.
Yeah, this is I have created MS Defender user.
Okay, great.
This
Now,
global administrator access.
Great. Now go ahead and open another tab and type admin.microsoft.com, but not right now. First, log in with that user. No, there is no point of doing it because on the same tab you're logged in with your account admin ID. Yeah, here you can do that. So guys, you need to log in with your admin user, the one that you created for the purpose of subscribing to Azure AD Premium P2 trial. Yeah. So please make sure that you're doing it together. Srinath is sharing the screen.
Raghuveer, sorry, which account we should use? Is it the first account with which we?
The account with which you signed up to Microsoft 365. Sorry, with which you signed up for Azure Microsoft Entra ID Premium P1 P2 trial. That's the account. the Defender account, if you use the same name, Defender. Got it?
Now, let me try, because it says you cannot log in with this account. It's not you can't log in with your personal account, it says.
See guys, you are not logging in with the account, with the Outlook email address that you created for the purpose of redeeming the Azure sponsorship pass. That email address or login is only valid for Microsoft Azure portal. For Microsoft Security portal or Microsoft Defender portal, if you remember, before we subscribed, before we signed up for Microsoft Entra ID Premium P1 and P2 trial, we created a user with the name Microsoft Defender, or with any name that you created. I want you to use that user to log in. For example, Srinath has logged in with that user. Now Srinath add another tab and type admin.microsoft.com.
Yeah, got it.
I logged in, Raghu.
Yeah, so add another, I'm saying open another tab on the same browser and type admin.microsoft.com. Guys, that's the reason in the chat window I have specifically mentioned that what is the URL for which kind of service. Admin.microsoft.com.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is where you are. Now click on billing. Click on your products. And you will see Entra ID P2 trial, the one that you took, which is expiring on July 5th. This is where all of you need to be. Is everyone with me on this?
Yeah.
I want all of you to be on the screen.
Yes.
Great. If you go back to the first tab, which is Azure Portal tab, Srinath, can you go back to the Azure Portal tab? You will see the same information there also, because these two portals are in synchronization. Now on this, please type licenses. In the search type license, you will see the same information. Click on manage all products, and here you will see the same license, which confirms that both the products, both the portals are in synchronization, right? You can see total 100 license, 6 assigned.
Yeah.
Go to the other tab, you will see the same information, the admin one. Yeah, you can see 6 assigned, 100 licenses. So these both portals are synchronizing. Okay, now what you need to do, you need to subscribe for Microsoft 365 E5 license. So go to Marketplace. And in the Marketplace, it basically shows you all the products. Just click on all products. And in the search, there is a search bar in the middle of the screen. Over here, type E5 and hit enter. Type E5 and hit enter. Now wait. Scroll it down. Not this one. We are not taking 365. Scroll it down. We're not taking them. Scroll it down. We are taking this one, which says Microsoft 365 E5 Teams without audio, because that's the one which is available. No, the one on the top. No, this not this one, the other one. Yeah, this one. Can you copy that name and put it into the chat window for everyone? Everyone needs to sign up with this, because others are not available for trial. This is available for trial. Put that into the chat window. This is the product that we all need to subscribe to. Okay, now click on details. And this will have a trial available. Rest of them I've checked, actually, they don't have a trial available. Right? It says start free trial. Just click on start free trial. Now, yeah, start free trial.
I click.
This is the most comprehensive product or bundle from Microsoft, which contains almost all the services. And as part of free trial, you get 25 user licenses, which means you can have a maximum of 25 users accessing this product simultaneously from the same portal. Right? You don't need to provide any information in terms of billing and registration, because that part you already did when you signed up for Microsoft 360, Microsoft Entra Premium P2 trial. Just click on try now. You don't have permission to access this page or perform this action. Correlation ID. This is strange. Just click on refresh. All right, click on start free trial once again. No problem. Stay there. Just go back to the Azure portal. Let's check your permissions.
Yeah.
Just no. So you have just go to your account, this Microsoft Defender account. Just go to Defender account in Entra ID.
Okay.
I want to see whether your account has permissions, global admin.
Yeah, I have permission.
I just want to double check. Users. You need to check whether this account, Microsoft Defender, has global admin permissions. Yep, manage. Click on license. Yeah, assign role. Assigned role, assigned role. Right. Yep, you have global admin permissions, which is good. Then you should not have any issues in subscribing to a trial. That's okay. You have global admin. Do one thing. Also assign this user access on Azure portal. Assign this user owner access on Azure portal. Because sometimes because of, no, you don't assign it like that. Go to your main account. You probably have opened on Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Go to main account, and from the main account, go to subscriptions. Click on subscription name, go to access management. Now over here, select owner role, go to privileged admin role. Privileged admin role. Yeah. Select owner. It's there. Next. Select member, the Defender account. No, why don't you search for it? Then in the search bar, you can just type D and it will show you the Defender account. Go up, go on the top. Why don't you see Defender here?
Yes.
Yep, over here. So the name is MS Defender, not Defender.
Yeah.
Next, select the third radio button. Third radio button. All assign all users. Allow users to assign all high roles. Yep. Next. That's it. Role review plus assign. I'm just giving it a try. Typically, it has nothing to do with this, but sometimes because of no access to Azure portal, it happens. So it has got the role assignment. Go back to the other tab, and in the other tab, first go to port. Now refresh here. So don't go to the admin tab. Go to the Azure portal and refresh the tab and make sure that you have access.
Oh, sorry. My power got lost. I'll connect once again. Hello, I'm audible?
You are.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. So where some people are able to do that, probably this is something related to specific to your account, or it could be a synchronization issue. That's okay.
Yeah, I'll refreshing it.
Yeah. So those who are able to get to that product, you just need to click on try now, and it will be done. It will not even ask you anything because you already have your payment information, billing information, registration number provided as part of previous trial that you took for Microsoft Entra ID Premium Pay2. Okay, go to Azure Role Assignments. After devices, you see here you can validate. Yep,
Owner,
you've
yeah.
got owner. Now go back to the Defender portal, security portal, and refresh this port. Go back to the previous page. Yep. Refresh the browser. Refresh the browser. Okay, now search for E5. See, others are able to get it without any challenge.
This is on.
This one. So this also gives me the answer that why I was not able to use that teams.microsoft.com portal, because I have taken the same license which says without Teams. It is without Teams actually. That's the reason. Yep. Click on start free trial now. Okay. Click on try now.
Yeah, I clicked.
That wait, it's checking. Don't click on again. I'm saying it's behind that, which machine bar, but I can see it's circling around. Probably it's trying to do. Great, done. Okay, click on continue. You got it.
Yes.
Great. So this is I'm saying I would not say that this is the most difficult piece, but then after you take the license, it takes a couple of hours for services to get synchronized, because it is not one service. Understand what is happening in the backend. It is more than 50, 60 services that will get synchronized with your account. So that's the reason it takes a couple of hours. And in our case, we took the license. We basically subscribed to this license on Sunday, the previous Sunday, and it took almost 2 days to get completely synchronized. And even today, for example, last night, all of a sudden, we could not see endpoints. Then we refreshed, then endpoint was visible, Sentinel was gone. Then we refreshed and both came. So this is a known issue with Microsoft, and Microsoft is trying to fix this for a long time. In fact, I'm say December I delivered a training on Microsoft 365. At that point in time, this issue was there. April, I delivered a training and this issue was there at that point in time also. So it's a common issue, that's okay. All right,
What
so
might be
you've
the
got it.
issue, Raghu? Actually, if it is a global administrator, we can assign a license, right? Again, why need to assign a owner role? Is there
see,
any?
This is a workaround actually. See, sometimes what happens, we create our own knowledge base. This is my own knowledge base that I have created. You will not find this information anywhere on Azure. But since I deliver this training more often, and I face the same issue wherein some participants are not able to get it, then what I do, I actually try it. So this was hit and trial method. I was trying a couple of options, and one fine day this option worked. And then I put it into my database, into my knowledge base, that if there is any participant who is not able to subscribe to a service from Microsoft Defender portal, the account with which the participant is subscribing will be elevated as owner of the relevant subscription, and then it will work. And this actually worked, and today it also worked. So I cannot tell you why it worked, why it was not working before, but I can tell you for sure it has absolutely nothing to do with this. But this is a knowledge base that I've created. And sometimes when things work, basis on what you learn, what you experience, you continue with that. But others were able to do it without it. I'm saying you can see others actually posted a screenshot in the chat and they did not even follow this step. They were able to get it in the very first attempt. Right?
Okay.
So this is just something that you can remember as you are a technician, you are into troubleshooting, you are into technology domain. Sometimes you create your own knowledge base and you write down steps that this is what I will do if I get this problem. It is the same thing. Okay, great. So let me just take this information from rest of the participants. Give me a moment here. Now I'll share my screen for a moment.
Okay, can I stop? Okay.
You can stop before you stop sharing. First, make sure that you see that license now. Under your products, it should be reflecting. Is it reflecting under your products, the license?
Yeah, Microsoft 365 E5, it's reflecting in billing in your my products.
Great, we are good. Okay. Now, so we are done with this part, which is Microsoft 365, Microsoft Security, or I can say Microsoft 365 license, Microsoft 365 E3 license, E5 license, sorry. This part we have done, so I'll just make it green that we completed this activity or highlight it. Next, onboard the environment, lab VMs in the following security solutions. So we need to onboard the environment in the following security solutions. Now, the beauty of Microsoft is that once you have your environment onboarded in this portal, let's say in Microsoft Defender, then it is equivalent for all of them. And so you onboard it at one place, it automatically gets onboarded in the remaining solution. Similarly, when you onboard it here in Endpoint, most of it gets automatically onboarded here also. That's the beauty of it. Okay. Let's take a break for 10 minutes. Then we will get started because we need to start with the onboarding task. And I will give you a series of instructions that you need to follow to start with the onboarding part. Now, while you have this account onboarded, I'm saying while you have access to now you have access to the product. For example, if you go to your products here, you will see the product because, for example, I see Microsoft 365 E5, which automatically includes P1, P2. So I never took P1, P2 trial. As part of this product, now if I navigate to security, I already have it here, security.microsoft.com. So over here, where is security.microsoft.com? Okay, the first portal. So I already have security.microsoft.com. you will notice that slowly and gradually right now, as we speak, you will not have all the capabilities available. They will start to appear slowly and gradually in your portal. Not right now, but slowly and gradually, you will see all of these capabilities will start to appear. So it will take probably a couple of hours, and that's the reason we did it today, so that we save this time here. So you will start to see those capabilities available in some time, in next couple of hours. And by the time those capabilities come, we will do our we will do our onboarding task. We will start with the onboarding task so that we can start to explore those capabilities. So now we will start with that part, but before we do that, let's take 10 minutes of break. Now the next task is onboard the environment lab VMs into the following security solutions. So let's do the onboarding part. So onboarding the systems in various Microsoft security products. So we need to onboard so what we will need to do, we will need to onboard these products, onboard these systems, the virtual machines that we have created. We call them systems, or we can call them endpoints also. Now we don't have mobile endpoints. We can also onboard mobile phones through Intune. We can also onboard iPad or PDA portable desktop devices also. We don't have them. So for the part of this training, we will stick to virtual machines that we have in Azure. And these virtual machines could be AWS GCP virtual machines as well. These virtual machines could be a physical server also, which is configured on premises. So do not just consider that endpoints only means virtual machines in Azure. Endpoint means any device that can hold an IP address that has the capability to communicate and collaborate over the internet. That's what endpoint means. Are you with me on this endpoint part? Yes, no, maybe? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So what are we going to do? We will first onboard these devices into Microsoft Sentinel. This is what we will onboard in, because right now, see, I wanted to first onboard these devices into Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, but since you have just subscribed to the subscription, you will not see Microsoft Defender for Endpoint now. It will take a couple of hours. So let's start with Microsoft Sentinel, or let's start with onboarding the endpoint in Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender for Cloud. This is what we are going to do. So we will onboard them in Sentinel and Defender for Cloud to begin with. And then whenever my Defender for Endpoint service is available, I will go ahead and onboard that in Defender for Endpoint also, which means Microsoft 365 portal. And once I onboard them in Defender for Endpoint, it will automatically get onboarded to other Defender capabilities which are available in this portal, right? So let's get started. So my first part to onboard the endpoint in Microsoft security products is to enable some basic functionality. So first we will enable the logging functionality. So we will enable logging and monitoring functionality of these endpoints. Logging and monitoring functionalities. Now, when it comes to logging and monitoring functionalities, there are two products that we use in Azure. For logging, we use a service with the name Log Analytics. And for monitoring, we use service Azure Monitor. For logging, we use Log Analytics. For monitoring, we use Azure Monitor. Now, Log Analytics service, Microsoft is consolidating this service into Azure Monitor. So Log Analytics used to have a separate portal. Azure Monitor has a separate portal. Now, slowly and gradually, Microsoft is integrating the capabilities of log analytics in Azure Monitor. And in the long run, Microsoft will completely deprecate this service. So Azure Monitor is the monitoring service that has the capability to monitor the infrastructure. It can monitor your network. It can monitor applications, etc. So let's go ahead and start with the log analytics. Let's build the monitoring infrastructure, because this infrastructure will be leveraged by both the products, Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender. So as part of this, we will create a log analytics workspace. So let's go to this part. And as part of this, we will provision a log analytics workspace. So we'll provision a log analytics workspace. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll log into Azure portal. This is something that we do from Azure portal. Now, if you want to do the entire activity using Defender XDR license, Defender XDR user, then you will need to have Defender XDR granted contributor or owner role in Azure subscription. Or if you want to do this onboarding from another Azure user, then you can use your own Azure user. I'm saying the account with which you sign to Microsoft Azure. This is totally up to you. So since my Defender XDR user, it has permissions on Azure portal. It has owner access. I can use this user only to provision. So let's type log analytics. And over here, you see this option, log analytics workspace. So you always see a default workspace. We will not use it. Even if you don't see it, that's okay. But we will not use this workspace. We'll create our own workspace, right? So let's click on create. It says log analytics workspace is the basic management unit of Azure Monitor Log. See, they're integrating it with the Azure Monitor. Let's go ahead and provision it. So in the resource group, you will select your resource group, whatever resource group you have your devices in. So you'll select the resource group. Then you will provide a name to this log analytics workspace. I can say this is my prod-workspace. So this is my production workspace. The region of this workspace is important. It has to be in the same region where your resources are. So since I have built my resources in West US, I will select the location for this workspace as West US. You select the resource group, you select the name, and you select the location. That's it. Next is you need to click on tags. You wish you can fill it. Otherwise, click on review plus create.
Yeah, I'm not able to see that
Speak a bit louder.
Hello. I'm not able to open that coordinating workspace on my Azure.
You're not able to open?
Yeah.
Why you are not able to open? Are you getting any error?
No.
Same with me.
Yeah. Welcome to Azure screen this time. When I click on that,
Kindly share your screen.
So maybe a role that is required for this.
so I'm click on able to see my screen.
Not yet. Okay, now I see it. Okay.
So whenever I click on this, similar to this screen.
So that is where, guys, I expect you to listen to me. I told you that if you want to use this user must be granted access on Azure portal. I was able to do this activity from this user because it had access on Azure portal. So since this user in your case, Hiren, does not have access on Azure portal, go to your other login, the account manager login, and from that login, assign this user appropriate rights or use this account login credential to perform the log analytics part. The entire configuration you do, the Azure portal configuration you do from Azure, from the main user, the account admin, and security portal configuration you do from Defender user. Or you can grant Defender user access on Azure portal so that you only use one user for all the activities. Not here. You don't assign access from here. This is here you assign access, for AD roles. For Azure roles, you need to navigate to subscriptions.
Okay.
Yeah. Subscription. Click on subscription. I have a small video of 11 minutes on subscription management in Azure. Please watch that video. That will give you a lot of information about how do we manage a subscription in Azure and how do we assign roles, how do we assign RBAC to various identities in Azure from the subscription. Click on add role assignment, and this is where you need to select owner role. And then I'm saying you can also select contributor. Contributor also works well for most of these scenarios. Yep, next. Now select the user, the Defender user, which you want to use for all the configurations. Great. Yep. Click next. Now select the third radio button. Yep. Next. Review plus assign. Okay. So now your Defender user has got the access on Azure. That's it. Why are you doing it again? Why are you doing it again? No. I'm saying, see, contributor is a level below owner. Now that you have assigned owner, contributor is not needed.
Okay.
Now go to the other portal where Defender user is. You should be able to configure log analytics workspace now.
So Raghu, in the subscription, I need to select the I need to search for the owner role, right? Owner role, and the other one is contributor.
Yep. Okay, Hiren, now you should be able to create log analytics workspace.
Yes, yes. I will do.
Great. I'll share the screen now once again. So log analytics workspace is completed. Now, what is this log analytics workspace? If you want to understand, it's a storage service that is used in Azure for storing logs from various resources. This is what we use log analytics for. It's a storage service. So various resources like virtual machine, storage account, your virtual machine storage account, your network logs, SQL logs, monitoring services log, all logs are stored into this service. So it's a storage service that is used for storing logs. We also call it log repository. That's what log analytics is. So we have provisioned the log analytics workspace. And now, after you provision the log analytics workspace, you will configure your virtual machines. You will configure your systems. Systems is the right word. Or you will configure your endpoints to forward logs to this workspace. So you will configure your systems to forward logs to this workspace. We will do the log forwarding configuration. And for this configuration, we need to create provision a data collection rule. So we provision a data collection rule basically to do the configuration. So we'll provision a data collection rule. That's what we are going to do. And this data collection rule is provisioned in Azure Monitor. I'm saying in the past, we will do all the configuration in Log Analytics Workspace only. But now that Azure is changing, they are deprecating Log Analytics Workspace. So they have enabled data collection feature, data collection rule in Azure Monitor that we now use to configure logs or to store logs. Okay, so we'll go to the provisional log data collection rule here. So now, after the workspace is provisioned, another thing that you can do to reduce the cost of the workspace or the usage cost, you can configure the workspace. After the workspace is provisioned, so you can use an additional step, which is configure log retention and plan settings. So let's configure log retention and plan. In the workspace, under usage and estimated cost, this is where you need to click on usage and estimated cost. So click on usage and estimated cost. It will show you the options wherein you can configure the usage details. Any which way, since it's a trial, we are not intending to continue with this in the long run. So we don't need to worry about it. I'm saying we can directly click on data retention. And right now data retention is configured for 30 days, which means it will store logs from various systems for 30 days. At the max, you can store logs for 2 years, which is 730 days. This is the maximum duration that you can store. If you want to store logs for more than 2 years, then you will need to use a service with the name Azure Data Explorer, where you can store the logs for up to 100 years. So I think the current configuration is okay. 30 days, we are good. So we will just keep it 30 days. The other thing that you can apply, configure here in a production, which is daily cap. Logs could be huge in size. Though the one log is, let's say, some KBs or bytes, but when there are thousands of log, 100,000s of log, they could probably be in huge size. So to avoid the cost implication or to avoid increasing the cost, what we do, we can create a daily cap. Daily cap basically means that please do not ingest more than 1 GB, 2 GB, 10 GB, 100 GB, 1 terabyte of log in one day. So that's how we can create a daily cap. Since it's a trial subscription, don't bother about it. I'm just explaining all the features here. So as a first step after creating, let me complete. As a first step after creating the log analytics workspace, we will need to configure the daily cap and we will need to configure the data retention settings. Then only we should start using the workspace. Now you can ask question.
No, with respect to daily cap, if you set the daily cap to some value, for example, 2 GB or 3 GB. So if it's going to exceed the daily cap, it is going to transmit all the logs, right? It's not going to send any data to the Azure workspace, right? The log analytics experience.
Your voice was echoing. I couldn't figure out. Can you repeat that once again? How far are you from your, from your mic?
So what I'm trying to ask is, all the daily cap settings, right? So if you set it to some 2 GB or 3 GB, so if it's
Can others figure out? I'm just not able to understand.
Basically, what he's asking if the cap is hit, what will happen to the remaining data?
The logs will not be ingested into the log analytics workspace. They will just be discarded. That's the purpose of putting a cap. I mean, say security solutions are capable of providing you all-round security, but you also need to keep your budget in constraint. So that's the concept of CAP. When see, there are two things. One is log optimization, but that will eventually happen in the long run. But if you want to control the cost, per month cost of your log ingestion, you can always put a cap. Now you can from the monitoring find out what is your daily log collection. Let's say your cap is 1 GB per day, but you are collecting from all devices a total of 1.2 GB log, which means you are losing 200 MBs of log every day. So if you feel that you also want to ingest those logs, you can increase the daily cap. In a production environment, you will always have a daily cap configured because you don't want to get surprises at the end of the month because of unnecessary log volumes. And you will also have a team whose job is to optimize the log collection all the time, wherein they will identify what kind of logs they want to collect from systems and how can they reduce the amount of false positive logs all the time. So it's an ongoing uh, initiative that will continue to happen as part of your SOC operations team. Make sense?
Yes, yes, makes sense.
Okay, great. So then comes the plan. By default, you all are part of pay-as-you-go plan. In pay-as-you-go plan, this is how you pay. This is the cost of ingestion. That's what you pay in pay-as-you-go plan. But whenever you feel that your per day log ingestion volume is very high, for example, 100 GB per day, then obviously you can go to these plans because these plans offers you some discounts over and above these plans, over and above pay-as-you-go plan. So 100 GB log ingestion per day will cost you this, which is this amount in per month, which is almost 5,66,000 rupees. If you go with 200 GB log ingestion, this is around 10 lakh rupees per month. If you go with 300 GB per day, this is around this ingestion cost. So accordingly, you can go with a specific cost. This is the typical tier that the organization goes with, which is around this cost of log ingestion. Or if you feel that it is not 100 GB per day, then you can go with this also. The pay-as-you-go. Pay-as-you-go basically means based on the amount of GBs of logs ingested into the workspace, it will cost you. And you can say it's a recommended tier. Why? Because from day one, you will not know the size of logs. You will probably need to wait for a month to arrive at an average size of per day log ingestion data. And accordingly, you can also identify the daily cap limit. And data retention, you will know it from day one that for how long you want to retain the logs. But typically what organizations do, they retain 6 months of log into the system, into log analytics for the current processing, and any log which is beyond 6 months, they forward that log into a storage account, archive that into a storage account or into Azure Data Explorer. It is like data warehousing, so that in future, if they need those logs for some investigation perspective, some historical data access perspective, they can always read it from there, or they can bring them from the storage account to log analytics and they can run the KQL queries on those logs. That's the purpose. That's the concept of logging, which is a prerequisite for Microsoft Sentinel. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raghuveer, is it possible to change your theme to the black is difficult to read remotely?
So because see, the reason I'm in incognito window, that's the reason this theme is coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I think I should have an option. I have not tried that. Maybe it is here in themes, in settings somewhere. Incognito typically comes in black color. That's the reason it is coming.
Yeah, no worries. We can continue. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So we have configured the log analytics. Now we go to the other service, which is Azure Monitor. So let's log into Azure Monitor service. Or you don't type Azure Monitor, just type Monitor. This is how we type Monitor service. So this is your monitor service. You can see the log analytics agent used by VM Insights won't be supported as of August 31st, 2024, which means this is the date when they are planning to deprecate log analytics service, log analytics agent service, which you deploy on virtual machines that basically captures logs from it and dump and stores them into log analytics workspace. So they are already deprecating it. That is the reason, since we are doing this training today, that is the reason I'm not covering the log analytics agent part. I'm covering the integration of log analytics workspace with monitor, which is going to be the trend from this date onwards, which customers are already started doing because they don't want to wait for the end date. So everyone log into this service, which is Azure Monitor. So guys, I've just logged into my portal on, okay, so basically this is done by Dave. I'll change the theme. Yes. Where's the theme option?
It is in settings. Yeah, in appearance and startup use. Left
Oh, wait.
appearance and startup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Below.
I'll keep it as.
Dark, right.
This is okay now?
This is perfect. Thank you.
Great. Sure. All right. So let's move into monitor. So the next part is, so we have created the log repository. Now we will need to configure our virtual machines to send logs to this log repository. That's the second step. So what are we going to do? We'll go to monitor service. In the monitor service, let me see where data collection is. Over here, under settings, you see an option that says data collection rules. So we'll click on data collection rules here. Okay, data collection rule. Here we will create a rule for data collection. I'll just remove the existing one.
For this one, we need to Defender admin as our account admin.
You can do any. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
If you're doing any activity in Azure portal, you need Azure portal access. If you're doing it in Defender, you need Defender access. So I can use this account or Defender account because both the account have the same level of access. They both are owner here, right? So you will need to create a data collection rule here. Let's create a data collection rule. So the name of the rule is, I can say, so we can create a separate rule for Windows and separate rule for Linux systems. So I'm creating a data collection rule for Windows. So I say prod data collection rule Windows to basically get logs of Windows. So prod data collection rule Windows. I'll select my subscription. I'll select my resource group. Then I'll select the region. So I will select here West US because my VM is in West US. And then I'll select Windows because I'm collecting the log of Windows. So I'll create two separate data collection rules, one for Windows and one for Linux, because Linux logs are different, Windows logs are different. So I'll select Windows. Data collection endpoint, I'll keep it none. Then I'll go to resources. When I go to resources, I have an option to add resources here. So I will click on add resources. and it will show me all my virtual machines that I have in my subscription, right? So I can select all, I can get all my virtual machines. So I'll directly select my virtual machines basically. So it shows me all the virtual machines here. My virtual machines are here in this subscription, TCS training. These are my virtual machines. You can see all the virtual machines I can see here. So I'll select all my virtual machines from where I want to collect the logs. My domain controller, my Windows 10, my 2016, my 2019, my 2022, all my virtual machines. So I've selected, I'll click on apply. So you need to select your resources first. Now you can see all the virtual machines are selected. So what I'm telling the data collection rule, that please collect data from all of these virtual machines. Now, if you have 10,000 virtual machines, you need to select them all here. Now, if there are 10,000, you don't need to select it like that. You can directly select the subscription. The moment you select the subscription, automatically everything includes in the subscription. But since I'm doing it for those virtual machines, I've selected it. After that, after you select the virtual machines, then you need to define what kind of data you want to collect. So here you will click on add data source. So when you click on add data source, it will say, okay, what kind of data source? Since you have selected Windows in the previous screen, it has automatically faded all of that and it only selects Windows logs. So you've selected data sources Windows. Now what logs from Windows you want to collect? It says if using Sentinel, use the connector configuration for collecting Windows security events to avoid unexpected increase in storage cost. If you're using Sentinel. So we are actually doing it for Sentinel, and I know anything which is automated may have additional cost. So these are the logs that I will collect from security perspective. So the objective is security, not monitoring. If the objective was monitoring, then I would have selected other logs. So I want to collect all the critical error and warning logs from my applications. For security, I want to collect both. I want to collect the failure log, success log. What will I do with that? It's unnecessarily storage cost. Then for system, I want to capture critical error and warning. These are the logs that I want to capture. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
This is for Sentinel basically. Then I go to destination, and here I'll select the destination, right? So I'll click on add destination, and here I will select Azure Monitor Logs, and I'll select the workspace that I've created. So what I'm telling in this data collection rule, that you need to collect logs from those 5 VMs. You need to collect logs, these logs from the VMs, all the critical error warning, security failure logs, and you need to dump those logs into this workspace. So all the logs should be added to this workspace. That's what I'm telling to the system. So I'll click on add data source. So I've added the data source, which is Windows event log. Then if this would have been, if I was doing this activity for monitoring from performance and availability perspective, then I can add one more data source, which is performance counters. And I would have collected these performance logs, CPU, memory, disk, right? These performance logs. But this is not what my intention is. My intention is to onboard these VMs for security monitoring perspective. That's the reason I'm not adding this data source. So for both monitoring as well as security monitoring, you will need to create collection. So my job is, my intention is to monitor my systems from security perspective. That's the reason I'm collecting the Windows event log. I'll click on next, review plus create, and I will run the final validation. So this is how we collect the logs. This is how we configure log collection from our VMs, so that all the logs, security logs, will be forwarded to a workspace, and that workspace will be onboarded in Sentinel, which is our Siemens source solution. Okay, it says some failure has happened. Why? Okay, the reason I'm getting the failure, because none of my virtual machine is running. And if your virtual machines are not running, obviously it will not be able to deploy the agent on those virtual machines. So please make sure, see, for this virtual machine, it says updating, but for rest of the virtual machine, it says no, because this, so what I'll do, I'll quickly, start these virtual machines. These virtual machines needs to be up and running while you are doing this activity. And once this activity is complete, then I can stop the virtual machines. That's okay. So let's start your virtual machines, all the virtual machines that you have, so that you can have log collection part completed. All right, guys. So now that my all virtual machines are up and running, all virtual machines are up and running, I'll go to my log analytics workspace and see whether the log analytics workspace that I've created, it is able to get those virtual machines. So under monitoring, not here, so they have changed the view. So classic virtual machines. Over here, I will see the virtual machines. You can see only this virtual machine is connected, ADDS VM. Rest of them are not connected. Why they are not connected? Because, so that's okay. So this is how, so there is another way of checking whether your virtual machines has started sending logs to the workspace. You will go to the workspace, the log analytics workspace that you have. Over here, you see an option logs. So you will come to the workspace. You can run a quick query in the workspace. This is the query editor. Here you can type heartbeat. That's it. Type heartbeat and hit enter, and it will show you whether there are virtual machines sending heartbeat to this workspace. So it has not started coming. That's okay, because your virtual machines were not available. So what I'll do, I will redo this activity. So I'll go to the monitor. In the monitor, I'll go to data collection rules. This is my data collection rule over here. Here I can see connected source 5 data. I can go to resources. Here I'll see the virtual machines which are added to my data collection rule. I can see the data sources also, the one that I'm collecting. Right now I'm collecting Windows event logs. And in Windows event logs, this is what I'm collecting. So I can always change the information if I ever need. I can do that part also. Okay. It has not yet started. It will take time. Or what we can probably do, since our virtual machines were shut down when we created the data collection rule. So there are two options. Either you wait, or if you want to do it quickly, then you can go to your data collection rule So this is the data collection rule that we have created. I'm saying we can reconfigure this data collection rule. We can go to resources. We can delete all the resources from here. So we are just trying to reconfigure it because when I created it, at that point in time, my virtual machines were shut down. So it could not install. So now I'll recreate it. Now I add virtual machines once again. It is like deleting the rule and then reinstalling it. So I can apply. This is adding the virtual machines once again. Great. Now you can see successfully initiated extension installation of resource successfully initiated. So now what it is going to do, this is going to installing an extension in the virtual machine. That extension will be configured to capture. That extension is nothing but an agent. That agent will be configured to capture this data sources. Whatever you've configured here, that extension will basically capture these logs from the systems. That's what it is doing. So we'll just wait for this activity to complete. And once this will take a couple of minutes. Obviously, this doesn't get completed in real time. Once we have this extension installed, we will start to have logs coming into our workspace. In the log analytics workspace here, when you click on it, you will start to have logs coming in here. And you will start to see those virtual machines here. This capability is deprecated, but you will start to see those virtual machines here, and it will say that this log analytics, they are connecting to this log analytics workspace. Right now, it doesn't say that, but you will start to see that here in some time.
Raghuveer, facing one issue. So
yeah,
couple of VMs I'm not able to, 2 VMs I'm not able to log in.
You're not able to log in. Why? I'm saying, do you not remember the password?
No, I could put the same user ID password for all the 5, but 2 of them I'm not able to. I'm not sure what is the difference when I configured the VMs. If I had,
see, if you're not able to log in, there is only one option which you have, which is to go ahead and change the password of the VM. So you come here under operations. There you have an option, monitoring, no automation, no security. Under security, no, not here also. Where is that option? Run command, auto shutdown, management. Give me a moment. Azure has changed a couple of things.
because that's a local account in which we're logging in, right? Anyways, these.
Yeah, we are using a local account.
Into a domain.
So from the portal, there is an option to change the password of the VM. If you don't have access to it, you can change the password. Somehow I don't see that option.
It's their reset password at the bottom, like towards the bottom, directly under this main.
Where? Yeah, that reset password, but it is where, under which category?
No, it's in the main menu only. Keep rolling down and then.
I'm at the last option. Under help? Okay,
help,
under help
yeah,
it is.
Under help, yeah.
Under help it is. Okay. So this option, reset password, you click on reset password, and here you can type the username and password. And even if you forgot the username, whatever username now, it shows the username already. You can type a new password and it will reset the local admin password. But if you want to reset the username also, you can type a new user and click on update. It will reset the username and password for local admin. This is where you can change it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll check that.
Great.
Hello, Raghuveer.
Yes.
So in my case also it is showing virtual machines are not connected, but when I created So all of them are showing running, and I did not stop any of them. So, but still it is showing not connected. Log
It will take
analytics
time. I
connection.
would say typically what happens, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
When you onboard a system in log analytics workspace, see, this is Azure, which is doing all of it. See, what we would do in the past, if you want to onboard a virtual machine, the process was different. This used to be the process. You go to the virtual machine, you go to agents, and here you can deploy agents. Right, but now you don't have that option. They have removed that. This is legacy agent management. You go, here you see log connector. No, not here. They've changed a lot of options. That's okay. This is where you will select the event logs and everything. The performance logs, event logs here, event logs and performance counters. But it is legacy now. They don't support it anymore. So what they do, okay. So what we can do here, I'm saying this is an old method and I somehow don't deprecate, don't recommend it because it's already deprecated. But this is another method of connecting your machines to log analytics workspace. You can hit connect and it will start to connect the machine to the workspace. But this is an old method. And since it says deprecated, you never know whether tomorrow it will be available or not, whether tomorrow this feature you will be able to see it or not. So I would like to go with the method which is available today and which will remain applicable in future. And that is the method, the one that we are doing, which is data collection rules. So it says from this date, this will not work. That's the reason I want to wait for some time and then it will work. For example, if I go to monitor, so one VM is connected, you can see. If I type the heartbeat, and run it, it will show me the logs coming from this VM now. No, not here. We just need to give it some time. I know this takes time. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes after you onboard the VM. It takes a couple of minutes to have that VM reflected here. You type the heartbeat and you run it and you will start to see logs coming from that VM. Okay, you can see now the logs are coming. The call recording back. Okay, see now it started coming. Logs have started coming. I have not done anything. I've just waited for some time. Azure is all about patience. The more patience you have, the more comfort level you will have with Microsoft Azure. See, now the logs are started to come. I've started to see those logs because you just need to give it some time. After you add VMs, wait for a couple of minutes and you will start to see those logs coming in the VM.
The logs are coming now. Yes, yes. The machines are showing not connected, but
no, they
logs
will
are
also
coming.
because this is deprecated. So probably this will also fix in some time. In some time, you will start to see this also showing as connected. It is just a matter of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's not waste time in this portal. See, what is more important is understanding the concept. Even if it is delayed by a couple of minutes or an hour, that's a secondary thing. Concept is very important. So did you understand the concept of ingesting logs into log analytics workspace? That's the question. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So even if your logs are not showing, just wait, just give it some time. You will start to see logs. You just need to make sure that your virtual machines are up and running. If your virtual machines are not up and running, then the logs will not come. For example, logs are coming. If I want to see logs are, you can see the logs are coming from these virtual machines now. If I want to get a list, there are multiple queries also available. I'm saying I can run a query that will tell me all the virtual machines which are onboarded into this workspace. Give me a moment, I'll share this query with you. So I'm just getting this from my Sentinel training. You don't need to remember everything. You can run this query. This will give you logs from all the VMs in last 1 hour, or you can run this query. That's it. Run it, and will show you logs from all the VMs in the last 1 hour. Now you will see your VMs actually, the VMs which are logged in. So you can see the VMs, there are 5 VMs which are logged in, and you can see their IPs, all the information. Like this here. The number of logs, remote IP, remote login, United States, all the information is coming. You can see detailed information is coming about your VM. So this basically shows you the heartbeat that is coming by all the computers. I've not. So this is what you can use. Last heartbeat when it came from all computers. And if you want to see the heartbeats that are coming from computers in the last 1 hour and the number of heartbeats, you can run this query.
I got the logs.
Yeah, you all will get it, guys. It is just a matter of time. You all will get. Now you can see the number of logs also, number of heartbeats which are coming. See, slowly gradually the heartbeats are coming from the VMs. So this is how you can get all the VMs that are added to your account and the heartbeats also. Okay, so this is about it. Is it completed? Logging. So you're receiving the logs. Now let's onboard this into Sentinel. Now understand the Sentinel part. So Sentinel, you will do it in your account, your own account. Okay. All right, guys. So we are done with this part. Now, what are we going to do? So we are here. So we have provisioned a log analytics workspace. We've configured retention and plan. We have configured our systems to forward logs to this workplace. We have provisioned a data collection rule in Azure Monitor and validate log ingestion. We've also validated the log ingestion. So this is what we have done. Are you with me on this?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we are done with the log analytics part. Now the next step is, so we've configured the systems. We validated log ingestion by running KQL queries. Okay. Then comes, so you're done with this part. Now we will onboard the system into Sentinel. Because Defender is still not available, so we are focusing on Sentinel. Now, Next step is monitoring we'll do later on. Next step is onboard. So my next step is after we are done with log analytics workspace configuration, after we are done with onboarding the required number of VMs into log analytics, we have validated that the logs are coming into the system. Then comes the point of onboarding the log analytics workspace into Sentinel or adding that workspace to a Sentinel instance. So onboarding the log analytics workspace to a Sentinel to Microsoft Sentinel. This is what we are going to do. This is my next step, which is step number 2. So how we do it in our respective subscription. In your respective subscription, all of you please type Sentinel. Microsoft, you can type Sentinel only. That will also work. So type Sentinel and you will see Microsoft Sentinel here. Innocent. You see Sentinel? So click on Microsoft Sentinel. That will open Microsoft Sentinel. Now Microsoft Sentinel is a fully managed SIEM and source service from Microsoft that does not require any infrastructure to be built for itself. Based on the number of logs that is ingested into the workspace, Sentinel can always read those logs and analyze those logs. Whether the log size is 1 GB per day or 100 terabyte per day, Sentinel will be able to read the logs because it's an automated, scalable service, and the cost will be charged based on the number of logs or amount of logs that Sentinel is scanning or analyzing per day. That's how Sentinel is built. So the moment we will onboard, now you will see the change. On the other tab, I'm opening log analytics workspace for a moment and you will see the change. So just notice this part. So on the other tab, I've opened log analytics workspace and I'll go to usage and estimated cost of the workspace. Over here, I'm seeing pricing tier as pay as you go. This is the current pricing tier that I see here. Now I'm going to onboard this workspace into log analytics. Now I'm going to onboard this log analytics workspace into Sentinel. And as soon as I do it, its pricing tier will change and it will be based on Sentinel pricing tier. So now I'll show you. So I'll go to Sentinel service. I'll click on create. When I create, it says add Sentinel to a workspace. So this is where you need to onboard workspace into Sentinel, and we are lucky that we get Microsoft Sentinel for a 30 days free trial. So we are not paying any cost for Sentinel for next 31 days. And even before the Sentinel trial expires, our Azure trial will expire. So we are quite protected here. So we'll just select the workspace that we want to onboard. I've selected the workspace and I will say onboard. You can onboard one workspace at a time. So I've selected this workspace and I've onboarded it. Similarly, I have another workspace. I will also onboard it to Sentinel. So it says successfully added Microsoft Sentinel. So successfully added Sentinel to Microsoft to workspace, prod workspace. It might take a few minutes for your workspace to appear in Microsoft Sentinel workspace, which is absolutely fine. I don't mind waiting for a couple of minutes. I'll go ahead and onboard another workspace also that I have. Okay, so I've added it to the workspace. Now, if I go to Microsoft Sentinel, in some time, I will start to see these workspaces that I just onboarded. Okay, my workspaces are shown. In your case, your workspace will be shown. It is shown. Refresh the screen, guys. If you're not able to see your workspace shown here, just refresh the screen and you will be able to see your workspace. Okay. So after you see your workspace in Sentinel, so what will happen from this moment onward? From this moment onward, Sentinel will start to analyze the logs which are getting ingested into these workspaces from various systems that are sending logs to these workspaces. That's what will happen from this moment onward. Now, if I go back to my workspace and refresh, I will say that the pricing tier will change and it will say that now it is Sentinel pricing tier because this workspace is onboarded into Sentinel. So I'll refresh my screen and you will see that change happening. So I've refreshed my screen. Now you can see the current Sentinel pricing tier is pay as you go because Microsoft knows that this workspace has been Sentinel enabled. So it says the log analytics workspace has Microsoft Sentinel enabled. Hence the pricing tier for this workspace can be changed in the Sentinel pricing tier. So now it is Sentinel pricing tier, which means you don't see anything here. Now if you want to see the cost, you will go to Sentinel service and see the cost of workspace. So if I go to Sentinel service and inside Sentinel, if I select my workspace, under here, I will see the cost. So over here, if I want to see the cost, I will see that here under settings. When I click on settings, I will see the pricing. And here I can see that what is my current pricing structure. So my current pricing structure, that right now there is no pricing structure. Why? Because I have a 31 days of free trial. But after 31 days of free trial is done, then my pricing structure would be pay as you go. Or I can use these pricing structure, which is 100 GB per day, 200 GB per day, 300, 500 GB per day. One of these pricing structure, depending on the amount of logs that I'm getting ingested. And accordingly, Sentinel will charge me. Are you with me, all of it? Is everyone with me on this?
Yes, yes.
The pricing part? Okay. So you don't need to worry about anything because it's all pure play trial subscriptions that you are using. And it says trial, but all the capabilities are available. There is not even a single capability which is not available here. All of them is available. Okay. So we are done with the onboarding part. So we have onboard the log analytics workspace to Microsoft Sentinel. This part is done. Now, after onboarding, there are some additional tasks that we need to do as part of Sentinel configuration. So you have just onboarded the workspace into Sentinel, which means Sentinel will read the logs. But how Sentinel will create the alerts and security incidents based on two parameters. So security incidents in Microsoft Sentinel. Now these security incidents in Microsoft Sentinel comes based on two parameters. First is default security rules. We call them analytics rules. Default analytics rules. So based on the default analytics rules which are configured in Sentinel and custom analytics. These are the two methods. Now default analytics rule are very wide in nature and you probably will not be able to get security incidents with default analytics rules because they will only come when that wide incident is matched. So we basically what we do, we create custom analytics rule in Sentinel and this goes into Sentinel configuration. So as part of Sentinel onboarding, we identify use cases against which we want to create custom rules so that those use cases will be analyzed by Sentinel and incidents will be generated. So these are the logic. So what are we going to do? We are going to do some onboarding in Sentinel. So after you start to see Sentinel, So after you onboard Sentinel, then you will start to see this information, which is incidents generated in the last 24 hours. It will show 0. There is no incident generated in the last 24 hours. And you will not see it unless you will see some incidents probably tomorrow for sure, because if you leave your virtual machines up and running tonight, since they are configured with public IP, over the internet, there are bots. They will try to, they run 24 across 7 and look for resources over the internet, which are accepting traffic on 3389, which means the resources over the internet who accept RDP traffic. So bots will run random IP addresses scan and see if there is any IP address which is accepting traffic on port 3389. And if it finds that information, it will whitelist it, and then it will try to brute force, that will try to send the brute force attack. So by tomorrow, you will see a lot of incidents if you run your systems up and running tonight. Okay, now how do we configure Sentinel? So the Sentinel configuration starts with the first topic, which is Content Hub. Now, what is Content Hub here? So we'll not wait for default. We will let default to do its job. We will start with our configuration, which is configuration of Content Hub solutions. So we'll go ahead and configure the Content Hub. They've changed the name recently. Earlier, it used to be known as Analytics Rule. Now it says Content Hub. Now, what is Content Hub is Sentinel? Content Hub is the repository of use cases. Use cases, I can say repository of security use cases, data connectors, automation, rules, workbook, which is known as dashboard, etc. This is what Content Hub is. So earlier, Microsoft had separate view for each of the service, but now they have used the concept of Content Hub, which means anything that you want Sentinel to work on, you will need to manually configure it. So you will click on Content Hub and you will see a lot of solutions here. Some common solutions that we are going to deploy here. I'll show you what are the solutions we are deploying. So we'll see a lot of solutions here. If you look carefully, you will see in Content Hub, you see a lot of solutions. There are some common solutions that we want to install today so that we can start to get information from them. For example, those common connectors are common solutions that we want to install is so in the Content Hub, we will install some common solutions. The first solution that we will install in Content Hub is Azure Activity. We want to capture all Azure Activity logs in Log Analytics workspace so that Sentinel will read them and identify if there is any attack that is happening on our Azure portal. If there is anything that is not right with our Azure portal, Sentinel will be able to read it. So Azure Activity Logs. So let's just go ahead and configure Azure Activity Logs. How do you configure? For each solution that you configure, you need to first install it. As part of installation, it will give you the capabilities. So we'll go back to Sentinel, and in the Sentinel, we'll click on Azure Activity. And the moment you click on any solution in the Content Hub, you will see an option to install that solution. So let's install the solution. It's all automated. You just click on install, the solution gets installed automatically. So it's getting installed, you can see, and it also tells you what this solution does. It says the Azure Activity solution for Microsoft enables you to ingest Azure Activity, administrative, security, services, resource help logs into diagnostic setting into Microsoft Sentinel. So we're installing this solution. And what does this solution contains? This solution contains, the solution is installed. Now, if you want to see what it contains, you can always click on it. And it says it contains 13 rules, 13 use cases that you can monitor. It contains one data connector. It contains hunting queries also. You can do the threat hunting. It contains one workbook, which means a dashboard, pre-configured dashboard. So this is what this solution contains. How do you know whether a solution is installed? Against the solution name, the status will be saying installed. And also, once the solution is installed, you will always get manage option. Earlier, it used to be installed. Guys, are you with me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Great. Click on manage. So when you click on manage, here you will see all that it contains. It contains one connector and a couple of things. So you will need to run the connector. Connector means there will be an integration between activity logs to Sentinel. So you will click on click on the connector. The first item, it says open connector page. Please click on open connector page. And over here, you get an option to configure the connector. This is how you configure the connector. So it says in order to configure this connector or in order to enable this capability, you will need these capabilities, which is you need workspace read and write permission. It says green check, which means you have that permission, right? So it needs this capability, subscription owner role. So you already have subscription owner role and you should have policy owner role also, right? This is what you basically need. So you directly come to the bottom where it says launch Azure policy. So it will create a policy and that policy will define that capture all the activity logs, dump that into the log analytics workspace, which is connected to Sentinel. That's what it is doing in the backend. So you click on launch policy wizard. And over here, you will need to select your scope. Scope is the subscription. So select the subscription as your scope because this is the subscription whose activity logs you want to capture. So select the subscription. That's it. We've selected the scope, which is your subscription. Rest of the information, just leave it as it is. Don't make any changes. Go next, next. You don't need, here you need to provide the, under parameters, you need to provide the log analytics workspace where you want to capture the activity logs. So over here, you will select your workspace, which is prod workspace. Then you will click on next, next. You don't need to put any compliance message, next. And in the end, you will hit create. This is how you will configure the Azure activity logs. This is how you will, so this is the complete process. So first we go to Content Hub, we identify a solution, we install it, then we go to manage the solution. In manage, you will find a data connector, you will configure the data connector. And once the data connector is configured, then your onboarding part is complete for that solution. So this part is done. I've completed this part. But with Azure Activity Log, there is one more step that you need to do, which is you need to type activity in your subscription, activity log in the search bar. That takes you to the activity log. Here it shows you all the activities that has happened in your subscription. Over here, there is an option that says export activity. You need to click on export activity log. And over here, you need to select your log analytics workspace also. This is only an exception for Azure Activity Log, wherein you will need to configure it from Sentinel as well as from outside of Sentinel. So over here, you will click on Add Diagnostic Settings. And this is where you will say, you will select the logs that you want to capture. So I want to select all logs that I want to capture because these all logs are important. So I've selected all logs. And then I will select the destination as Log Analytics Workspace here. The name I can say activity log. That's it. And here I'll select the workspace where I want to ingest the logs. So I'm selecting the workspace as prod workspace, West US. That's it. And on the top left corner, you see save option. So hit save also. So this is only an exception for activity log, wherein you will need to configure the connector as well as outside of the portal. For rest of the connectors in Sentinel, you can directly configure it from Content Hub, and you don't need to do any additional configuration from portal. So this is configured. You can see here, this is done. Now, if I go back to Sentinel, in some time, once you deploy a connector, it will take a couple of minutes to have it appeared as installed. So I come back to the portal here. In the portal, if I want to see whether my connector is installed, under configuration, I see an option that says data connector. I'll go to data connector, and here I'll see my connector, which is one connector, and I see Azure activity, but it doesn't say green. Right next to a connector, you will see a vertical line. Once that connector is installed and working successfully, that line will change to green. It will change to green. It changed to green basically means that now the connector is installed and it is also getting data. Right now, this is not getting any data. If I click on open connector page, I will not see any data coming here. See, data received, it's all blanked here. So no data is coming because it will take a couple of minutes to get configured in the backend. Similar to our virtual machines that you onboarded using data collection rules, but it took a couple of minutes to have them sent heartbeat in the log analytics workspace. That's the concept of connector. Is everyone with me? Right now, all you need to ensure is that it shows Azure activity, whether the status is online or not. Leave up, just don't bother about it. It will turn to green in some time. Is everyone with me on this?
Yeah, Raghu, can you show me the diagnosis setting once again?
The diagnostic setting?
Yeah.
Okay, just go to your workspace. Sorry. Just go to the activity log. In the activity log, there's an option that says export activity log. Over here, you will see the diagnostic setting. So over here, you see, you need to click on add diagnostic setting. You will need to select all logs that you want to enable, provide a setting name. This name is not important, provide any name, and then select log analytics workspace, the one which is onboarded into Sentinel, so that these logs will start to get dumped into the workspace and Sentinel can read them. That's what you need to do. Make sense?
Just a minute.
Okay, I'll go back to my Sentinel view. I refresh my screen. In some time, I will start to see activity logs as getting green. Okay, so now this is one. The next, let's go to the next content. Let's go to the content hub once again, and let's install another solution. The other solution that we are installing is, see, with this solution, we'll get our Azure activity logs. But what about Microsoft Entra ID logs? When somebody tries to perform a brute force attack, or when there is any vector over the internet who tries to gain unauthorized access to my account, they will try to log in. The authentication happens from Microsoft Entra ID. So we also need Entra ID logs ingested into Microsoft Sentinel, so that Sentinel can also read the logs from Entra ID, read the logs from Azure activity, correlate those logs, and identify a brute force attack. So let's onboard Entra logs also. So for that, we need to search for a solution which is Entra. Earlier, the solution name was Azure Active Directory. Now it's Entra, Microsoft Entra ID. So just select this solution and install this solution also, Microsoft Entra ID. So next solution that we are deploying is Microsoft Entra ID. So it is installing. This is how we are doing the onboarding part, or we are building our Sentinel solution. So let's install Microsoft Entra ID. After Microsoft Entra ID, I want to capture my storage account logs. So I also have a solution for storage accounts that I will install. Storage account. Then I will deploy a solution for Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, because I want to capture my Defender for Endpoint logs also. I will deploy a solution for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. I want to capture Defender for Cloud logs also. I will deploy a solution for Microsoft 365 Defender because I want to capture those logs also. This is known as, so when you capture the logs from these solutions, now these solutions themselves are capable of providing security proactively. So they are providing proactive security, and at the same time, we are capturing the logs from here so that Sentinel can also provide additional capability over and above what these solutions provide. So we'll go back to the portal. We'll see that this solution is installed. Microsoft Entra ID is installed. Now we'll select it and we'll click on Manage. This is the same step for all the solutions. Install the solution from Content Hub. Then once the solution is installed, click on Manage, and whichever data connector is there in that solution, configure the data connector so that you can connect Sentinel using the data connector to the service that you want to protect. So over here in this solution, we have a data connector, which is Microsoft Entra ID. We'll select the data connector and we'll open the connector page. Now, in order to configure this connector, you need some prerequisites. So the prerequisites are workspace, diagnostic settings, and tenant permissions. You see a green check against everything. Why? Because the account that you are configuring this solution, this account is an account admin, and by default, it has read and write permission on the workspace, diagnostic settings, and tenant permissions. Because this account is also a global admin. So you have all the permissions. Now, all you need to do is select what kind of logs you want to capture. So yes, I want to capture all the sign-in logs. I want to capture all the audit logs. After that, whatever you see here is preview. Preview basically means that this connector is evolving over a period of time and Microsoft is adding more security capabilities to it. But since it says preview, it means that you may or may not get the logs. And even if you get the logs, they may not provide you all the information that you look forward to because it is in preview. Microsoft is developing it. And if because of these logs, if the log volume increases, which increases your cost, or if these logs provide you inaccurate information, Microsoft will not take blame for it because it's preview. Preview means we are in the testing phase. If you wish, you can go for it. If you don't wish, then wait for these capabilities to come under general availability, then use it. So the most important thing for me is sign-in logs and audit logs. And I will also use this, which is user risk events, risky users, because I've enabled conditional access. So this information will come from conditional access, right? This is what I want to capture. So I will just click on apply changes. That's it. Now what it will do, since my account has access to global admin role, it will quickly go to my Entra ID and integrate my Entra ID with Microsoft Sentinel. And in some time, probably by tomorrow when we resume the session, you will see logs coming from all of these services. Is everyone with me on this?
Yeah.
Great. So this is installed. All you need to do is click on apply changes. Rest it will do its job. So we'll go back. We'll go back to connectors and I will now see two connectors. In some time, I will say you just need to wait for some time. I see two connectors now.
Hello, Raghu. Can you please explain how did you configure the Azure activity?
Okay.
What resources you selected? And the
Okay,
user
I
has
would want a volunteer here because I've explained it twice. I want one volunteer who's already configured it to share the screen and show it to Kunal. Can I have one volunteer explaining the part?
Raghu, before that, I have one question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm trying to access my Azure portal from my customer virtual desktop VDI infrastructure. But when I try to access certain resources or when I try to do some activity, it says it doesn't have the proper permissions because the private link is something it is not able to access it. Is that something I need to log in from the one of the server that we created rather accessing
Yeah,
this?
please log into my server. Probably your customer environment has some restrictions.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, hello Raghu, I have one doubt. So in Azure activity, when you select uh, the log analytics workspace, so everything under that will get selected automatically, or do we need to select it separately?
Please share your screen. Can you please share your screen? Then only I can guide you. I need to
Yes,
know where
sir.
exactly you are.
So I am in basically here. So I just wanted to know about this.
Just click on next. You just need to, no, why did you put exclusion? Why are you excluding this? Remove it. No. Just cancel it, do it once again.
Okay. Here also like
No, cancel the entire operation and do it again. You cannot exclude your subscription. Otherwise, nothing will go into Sentinel.
non-Azure policy assignment wizard, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Select your, go on the top. It is not coming. It's faded. Close it and do it once again.
No, I selected
Okay.
here basic.
Yeah. No. Start again. Why are you selecting the resource group? Then only the logs from that resource group will go. All you need to do is select the subscription. That's it. Nothing else. Now click on scope,
Okay.
select the subscription. That's it. Done. This is all you need to select because you want entire subscription logs to be analyzed by Sentinel. Now click on next. Click next. Now select the workspace where you want the logs to be ingested. That's it. Next. No changes. Next. No. Don't create anything. Next. That's it. Create. That is all you need to do.
Understood.
Great. Done.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So we are done with the two connectors. Now, can somebody log into security portal, Microsoft Defender portal, and tell me whether you've started to seeing the endpoint solution. Is endpoint solution is visible now? Because we will configure both the solutions in parallel actually. So what you need to check in the Microsoft Defender portal here, at the bottom you see settings. When you click on settings, you should see endpoint service here. Just tell me whether you're able to see this service.
Raghu, your screen is not sharing.
Oh, okay. Somebody else was sharing. Give me a moment. Okay, is my screen visible? So what I'm trying to say that on Microsoft Defender portal, the one that you have taken the trial couple of hours ago, for this portal, to your left, when you scroll the bar to the bottom, there is an option that says settings. When you click on settings, do you see this option endpoints?
Yes.
Okay, great. If you see the endpoints, which means that now you are ready to onboard your systems in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint also. So let's get your systems onboarded to Defender for Endpoint simultaneously.
Raghuveer, I am not seeing the endpoints option.
How many people are not able to see it? Please raise your hands.
Raghuveer, actually we need to onboard the endpoint, right? On the virtual machine.
That's the reason I'm asking you whether you're able to see the endpoints or not. See,
Yeah.
Microsoft Sentinel is different, Defender is different. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is different, Sentinel is different. They are two different solutions. We have just onboarded our machines into Microsoft Sentinel. In addition to that, we have enabled activity logs and Microsoft Entra ID logs in Sentinel. Now we will onboard the same machines into Defender for Endpoint. For that, you should have this endpoint visible in your portal. If endpoints is not visible, then you will not be able to onboard, which means your portal is still not synchronized and it will take a couple of more time.
I'm not able to show. So it's not showing
so
for me.
people who are not able to see it, please raise your hands. I want to see how many people are not able to see it. 1, 2, 5. 5 people are 7. Okay, so which means it will take time. So we will probably do this configuration tomorrow. Let's continue with Sentinel then.
Raghuveer, one suggestion, I'm not sure. I think they can assign the security admin role for their account. It will be visible.
Which account?
Defender account.
Defender account already has global admin. Global admin is much bigger than security admin.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is just the synchronization. See, some people are able to see, but they have not done any assignment. So it is just the synchronization. That's okay. Meanwhile, let's just enable some additional capabilities. Over here.
Raghuveer, just a question for onboarding Entra ID, like we just set up that connector, right? But there were some analytical rules that we had not checked for. So those use cases will not be there, right?
We have not reached to that part. Right now, we are focusing on deploying the connectors. Analytical rules will come later on.
Perfect. Okay.
Right now, we are just deploying the connectors. That's it. Okay. Now, I'll show you what exactly will get into the Sentinel. So if you go to Entra ID, in the Entra ID under monitoring, you see this sign in and audit logs, these two logs. These logs will get ingested into the Sentinel. This is what you have just configured. These logs will be ingested into Sentinel. You can also manually ingest them into Sentinel by clicking here you can see they are automatically ingested because it automatically came as Azure Sentinel prod workspace. Because the moment you selected this, the moment you created that connector, it has ingested the log. Okay. Okay, great. Let's move on. So we'll go to Sentinel. Let's onboard some additional connectors. So we'll go to data connectors. Sorry, we'll go to content hub and we'll look for additional connectors. So let's look for storage account connector. Azure storage. So we'll click on this connector and install the storage connector also, because storage is a critical service. It contains all my crucial data, classified data, important data of my business. I also want to make sure that I'm able to deploy, that I'm able to protect my storage accounts from any security incidents. So I will install storage connector also. So it is deploying storage connector, which is installed. After the connector is installed, I will click on manage. And then it doesn't have any analytics rule, nothing of that sort. It only has connector. So I'll click on connector, open connector page. And here I will configure it. So it says it should have workspace read and write permissions. It says configuration. Connect Azure storage to Microsoft Sentinel. It says enable diagnostic logs on all storage accounts. So what this connector is saying that you need to manually doing it. It says that you need to open your storage accounts, and in the storage accounts under monitoring, navigate to diagnostic settings, add diagnostic settings, type a name and send to log analytics workspace. So similar to Azure activity log, you need to do this process manually actually here. So here it will directly take you storage accounts, or you can open storage accounts view. See, it directly took me to storage accounts. Over here, I will need to select each storage account one after another. This needs to be manually done. Under monitoring, there's an option that says diagnostic setting. I will need to enable, select the storage account name, and then add diagnostic setting. And click on transactions, type a name, whatever name you want to type, settings, and select the log analytics workspace. So basically you need to manually configure all the storage accounts to send logs to your workspace. The connector is just there to give you the guidance. That's it. For example, this is configured. Similarly to this, all the storage accounts that you have, you need to do the same process that you need to configure. So click on the storage accounts. Under monitoring, you have diagnostic settings. And once this is done, then we can run a KQL query in the logs to find out whether storage accounts are sending logs or not. So this process needs to be repeated for all the additional storage accounts. You just need to repeat this process. We've configured the storage also. So now you should see 3 connectors very soon. Okay, 3 are there. Now you guys can notice that my Microsoft Entra ID went green, which the moment it goes green, it means that now I have started. Now logs from Microsoft Entra ID are, they are now ingesting into Sentinel. So you will always, unless they go green, it means the logs are not coming. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Let's move on. So similarly, we have additional. I will create a list of all that we need to configure, and then you all can configure the same. So depending on what solutions we are interested in, we can do the configuration here. For example, if you are interested in bringing logs from your AWS cloud in Sentinel, because AWS doesn't have a full-fledged SIEM and SOAR service. It has ELK, which is a combination of 3 services, or guard duty, which is also not an effective SIEM service. So you can bring logs from AWS. You can bring logs from Google Cloud also. Though Google has a very stable SIEM and SOAR service with the name Google Chronicle, but you can also bring logs from Google. You can similarly configure Microsoft Defender XDR logs here. Microsoft Entra we have configured. You can also configure network security logs here. So you have a lot of you have a lot of solutions here. You can see third-party solutions are also available. For example, if you have Cisco devices, you want to configure your Cisco devices to send logs, you can see a couple of solutions from Cisco are also available here. So we have Cisco Secure Endpoint, Cisco SEG, Cisco UCS, Cisco WSA. These are the solutions from Cisco. A lot of solutions from Cisco you can see here. If you want to onboard, let's say Palo Alto, we have a couple of Palo Alto solutions also, like Palo Alto Pan OS, Palo Alto Prisma. And for any solution, if Sentinel doesn't have a connector, then you can write a custom connector, or you can configure syslogs and you can ingest those logs into Sentinel. That is also available. Right now, over here, you can see a couple of solutions from there. Let's say you want to see any solution from Zscaler. It also has solution from Zscaler. So Zscaler Internet Access, Zscaler Private Access. Now your company is using Zscaler Internet Access. So if you want, you can ingest all logs from Zscaler Internet Access into Sentinel. So this capability is also available. So there are multiple that we can do. Now we will configure additional, which is let's configure Defender logs into Sentinel. So we'll type Defender and you will see Defender products also. Over here, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Ops, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, Microsoft Defender for Identity, Microsoft Defender for 365. So you have a couple of Microsoft Defender logs also that you can ingest. So we will not ingest logs until we configure the solutions, because if we ingest logs now, then it will probably not bring the logs. But this is Defender for Cloud is something that we can proceed to configure now, because Endpoint is not visible for all the participants. So I would probably wait until tomorrow. We can proceed with Microsoft Defender for Cloud to configure the logs of Microsoft Defender for Cloud into Sentinel. So what we will do, we will go ahead and install the solution, which is Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So let's install the solution.
Hi, Raghuvi, this is Moinak here.
Yeah. Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
Srinath.
Raghuvi, no, not Srinath, it's Moinak.
Sorry.
It's Moinak here. Am I
Yes,
audible?
Mainak.
Yeah,
Yes, you are.
actually, so actually, I told you in the beginning of the day that there was power issue. So I have recently joined with the system.
Hmm.
Would you like to check that the device synchronization? Should I share the screen?
Yeah, please do that. Please do that.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 minute. Before that, before you do that, guys, before Mainak does that, did you all install Microsoft Defender for Cloud?
Yes, I installed.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go to the solution. So I'll go to Content Hub once again. And in the Content Hub, I can click on, I'm say this status. I can click here and it will show me all the installed solutions. Not like that. I can say status. So I can select the status as I'll remove all, click on install, and all installed solutions will be shown. So these are 4 solutions that I've installed. Now I select this solution Defender for Cloud and I will hit manage. Every solution that you install, you will need to click on manage so that the data connector which is part of that solution can be configured. For example, it has 2 data connectors, which is 2 data connectors. One is in preview, the other one is a legacy. Obviously, I will not go to legacy part. Forget about this. Anything which is legacy, don't learn it today because you may not have it tomorrow. So I will go to the first one, which is tenant-based data connector, which will have your entire tenant added, entire tenant of Microsoft Entra ID tenant added. So even if you add new subscriptions in future, that will automatically get onboarded here. So I will select the first option, tenant based, and I will click on open connector page. It says connector not found. I will once again click on open connector page. Okay, that's the challenge with preview solutions. You can see this is the challenge with preview. I am selecting it, clicking it open, and then it says it is not found. So you should not trust on anything which is in preview, because if it breaks anything in your account, Microsoft will not take responsibility for it. So I will probably see this one. This is analytics rule basically. Let's try it one more last time. Let's try the legacy one, whether it is working. Okay, legacy one is working. So let's do the legacy one at least. We'll select the subscription for which we want to enable it. We'll just hit the status as connected. It says bidirectional sync, which is not available. Microsoft Defender plan. So it says that there is no point of enabling this connector because you have not onboarded Defender yet. The Defender service is still not onboarded. So we'll probably leave it and we'll come back to it later, not right now. So far only Entra ID is showing as connected. Azure activity and storage account still not showing as connected, which is just a matter of some time. And then I will see, okay. Now you can see here, my Azure activity and Microsoft Entra ID is showing as connected. So it's a matter of time. If it doesn't work for you in some time, don't feel bad. You just need to ensure that you've taken the right steps. Okay. So for storage account, it will start to work in some time when those storage accounts will start to send data to when they will start to send the data.
Raghu, any new storage account being added here on, we'll have to again explicitly do it for the same?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is where this is one option which I see now. Earlier it was not available. See, now I can see this option. So when you click on storage account connector, once again, click on manage, you will see this option which says connect your Azure storage diagnostic logs into Sentinel. So if I configure it, then it will be applicable for all the storage accounts. That's first one. So I'll click on launch Azure policy wizard. Now here I'm selecting the scope as subscription, which means any storage account in this subscription. This is what I'm selecting. So any storage account in this subscription, then I'll click on next, no exclusion, next, and then I'll select the workspace. So what I'm telling, I'm creating a blanket policy, which is any storage account in this subscription will send its logs to log analytics workspace. So that way you don't have to manage, you don't have to manually add all the storage accounts. This is what I've created. So now all the storage accounts that I have as we speak will be onboarded into Sentinel. Any additional storage account that I will create will also get onboarded into Sentinel because my policy is configured at the subscription level. Make sense?
Yes, yes. And for those 5 VMs we had selected to push their logs into log analytics workspace,
they are by default coming. They're coming into Sentinel.
Any new VM added then?
Any new VM, then you will need to add that VM to the data collection rule actually. Because the new VM will not get onboarded automatically. Understand this. Any new VM that you add, you need to go to monitor service. This is the data in the monitor service. This is the data collection rule. This is the rule which is responsible for collecting the logs and sending it to log analytics workspace, right? So you will need to come here and over here you need to click on resources. And here you need to onboard that VM. Right now only 5 VMs are sending logs. So if you want to onboard more, just click on add. When you click on add, you will see the additional VMs. You will not see the VM which is already onboarded. You will only see, okay, it is showing the VMs which are already onboarded. So you will just need to select that VM and then you will need to onboard it. You need to select the VM, guys. For example, this VM. I can onboard this VM. Let's say if I have additional VMs. Okay, so I can see this VM. This is additional VM. Jump host VM is not onboarded, so I can select both the VMs. Now I have a total of 7 VMs here. It is just refreshing it. That's it. So I have a total of 7 VMs. That's it. So this is how you need to do. It says the moment you've added the VM, it says successfully initiated extension installation. So it will install extension on this VM and the other VM. This is what you need to do. So for each VM that is provisioned, you will need to add that VM to the data collection rule under resources so that VM will have the extension installed on it, and that extension will start to capture logs that you have configured in the data source for that VM and starts to send it to the log analytics workspace, which is connected to the Sentinel instance. That's what you need to do.
Right. Which agent is responsible for this? Like the log analytics agent?
It's
or
Azure
VM
Monitor
agent?
agent now. It's
Azure.
Azure Monitor agent. In fact, when you log into the VM, you will find the agent there with the name Azure Monitor. See, it's log analytics agent only. They have just changed the name it to Azure Monitor agent.
But there is one more VM, one more agent on the VM, right? So virtual machine agent or something. That is also there.
That's Azure agent. Through that agent, Azure portal manages the virtual machine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a separate agent. This agent is separate. They are two different agents that we have.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Great. So this is what you need to do basically. So I'll go back to Sentinel once again. I'll go to data connectors. Now, in some time, this will also go green. The storage account part will also go green in some time. Okay. So since these are going greens, for example, Azure activity, if I click on open connector page, I will start to see data getting dumped. You can see here these rows, these lines, these basically shows the data is coming. So your connector has to go green. If it is not going green, it means that there are some synchronization issues, or you will need to do the configuration all over again. It has to go green. Is everyone with me on this?
Yes.
Next. So I'll just make it green, whatever I've installed so far. So we have deployed these connectors, Azure activity logs, Entra ID. We have done storage account. We have done. Then there was Microsoft Defender for Cloud that was not working. So we'll come back to this later on. So this is what we have done, and these we will configure accordingly. Probably tomorrow we will configure this. So this is onboarding the log analytics workspace to Sentinel. Now third is, so I'll keep on adding more connectors here as in when we proceed further. Third is onboarding, or you can say enabling Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Now we are enabling Microsoft Defender for Cloud for its CSPM, CWPP. I'm saying I've already written that what it is used for over here. So we are enabling this solution now, and we will configure these capabilities. So let's enable Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So how do we enable Microsoft Defender for Cloud? That's the question. Now look carefully on my screen. I'll show you the Microsoft Defender for Cloud part. So we'll go to Defender. Let me know when everyone is here. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay. All right. So we'll navigate to Defender. Let me know when you all are on the same screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how we enable Defender. Now Defender also gives you 30 days of trial. How do we enable? Just click on overview. I'm saying, sorry, under management. You need to come to this screen. Two things. Just click on under management. You see this option, environment settings. All of you,
Yes.
please click on this option. You will see a lot of pop-ups. Just get rid of them. And after you click on that option, you will see your subscription. You need to click on your subscription. You will see these workspaces also. Just stick to your subscription, and right next to the subscription, it says edit settings. Right next to the subscription, you see 3 lines. It says edit settings. Click on it. This is where you see all the plans of Defender. So we are going to enable Microsoft Defender for cloud. Wherever it says, maybe later. Now over here, we'll configure everything. So we'll click on enable all plans. That's it. Now for API, it is asking you the question that API is a new plan. So it is asking that which one of the plan you want enabled. And so this is the cost, $200 per month for 1 million API calls and whatnot. So I would rather say that instead of doing it like that, you do it like that manually. So turn on the plan. For API, just keep it turned off, because any which ways we are not using API here in this training. So rest of the plans you can enable. Rest of the plans, which is okay, you can enable. Even I'm saying if you want to, because any which ways you have it for 30 days, and before the Defender plan expires, your subscription will expire. But if you want to use judgment, I would say do not enable container plan, because we don't have any container. Similarly, there's no point of enabling Key Vault. You can enable server, app service, database storage, because we have these services available, or we'll configure it. The resource manager, enable it. API, keep it disabled. So this is how you can do it. And once you are done with this part, on the top left corner, it says save. Please hit save. So this is how you enable, or this is how you enable Microsoft Defender for cloud for your subscription. Make sense? Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes. I would say enable following plans. And then I'll show you what plans needs to enable. So you need to enable Defender, CSPM, servers, app service, Defender, CSPM, app service, server, storage account, database, and resource manager. These are the 6 plans that you need to enable in Defender. You can enable API also. You can enable others also. That's absolutely fine. These are the 6 plans that we've enabled: CSPM, app service, server, storage account, database. And the important plan are server, databases, storage account. These are the important plans. And CSPM also, because this gives you the secure. So these are the plans that we need to enable. Has everyone enabled these plans? Okay. Now, how do you know whether these plans are enabled or not? You can go back to the main page of Defender, and right next to your subscription, you will see, I'm saying when you refresh the screen, you will see the number of plans which are enabled. So you can see 9 plans are enabled. We intentionally left container, key vault, and API. Rest of the plans are enabled. Similarly, if you add more, you can enable more plans also, right? Now, for workspace also, Defender can also protect your workspace. So for workspace also, you will enable the plan. So same funda, right next to workspace, you need to click on edit setting. And over here, now, what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this approach is that if I enable the plan for workspace, what will happen? Whenever I add a VM to a workspace, it will automatically get enabled for Defender. So I will also enable the workspace plan, which is my server plan and SQL Server on virtual machine. I don't have any SQL Server, so I would rather say servers plan. I'm enabling, or I can enable both. That's okay. It is any which way is not costing me money because this is my trial subscription. So this is how you will need to enable the Defender plans for workspace. So this plan is enabled. Now it says Microsoft Defender plan will apply to 7 Azure. Why it says 7 Azure? Because there are 7 virtual machines in total. So it will automatically apply to those virtual machines. Those virtual machines will be protected by the cloud workload protection platform capability. This capability will be enabled on those virtual machines. This capability, cloud workload protection capability, will be enabled for those virtual machines. Then comes data collection. I can also configure data collection here. So this is what I can configure. It says store additional raw data Windows security events. So it says to help audit, investigate, and analyze threats, you can collect raw events, logs, and additional security data and save it to your log analytics workspace. Select the level of data to store for this workspace. Charges will apply. So I will say none, minimal, common, or all events. So I'll select all events and I'll save it. So what I'm telling Defender that you go ahead and collect all the events from these machines. So from this moment onward, any virtual machine that you will add to the log analytics workspace will automatically get enabled for Defender plan. Are you with me on this, guys? On the enabling part?
Yes, yes.
Great.
Yes.
So we will refresh the machine and you will see that it will say all plans enabled. 2 by 2. So now it says 2 by 2. So this is how we onboard Defender. So we have onboarded Defender now. If we go to the overview tab, you will start to see some data now. So obviously Defender will take 24 hours to scan the data. So we will leave this up and running, and it will probably show you some data tomorrow. And then we will see that what all additional information we will get from Defender and how do we work with this solution. So we have enabled Defender. This is how we onboard Defender. Rest of the information on Defender we will do tomorrow. Okay, now let's understand if we want to onboard non-Azure servers into Defender. Let's say you have some virtual machines in AWS, some virtual machines in Google Cloud. You have some physical servers on premises, some virtual machines in private cloud, somewhere else on this planet. You can use this feature of Defender, which will help you to onboard non-Azure servers. So it says onboard non-Azure computers to Defender for cloud and gain security assessment. So you will click on add here, and over here it says onboard servers to Defender. So I can select in which I want to onboard. So first of all, I will need to upgrade that workspace so that, and then what will happen actually, understand how do you onboard. Once you onboard the servers, you will need to deploy log analytics agent. So it says that first select the First, select the workspace where you want to onboard the non-Azure servers. And they will upgrade that workspace for this capability also. And after the workspace is upgraded, then you need to navigate to that workspace and get the log analytics agent, and that log analytics agent needs to be deployed on that server. So I will click on upgrade my prod workspace because let's say I want to use this workspace. Now, after this is upgraded, in the three dots, when you click on three dots here, when you click on this workspace, it says add servers. So you will see this option add servers. When you click on add servers, it will give you, it will ask you whether that server is Windows or Linux. So you will say that, okay, right now it shows that 7 servers are connected to this workspace, right? So let's say I want to connect additional servers. So what it says, if you want to collect additional servers, you just need to get this agent. So it says download Windows agent 64-bit. Just download this agent on your system, move that agent on that server, whichever server you want to add to the workspace, and then just use this primary key. At the time of installation, it will ask you the primary key. That's what you need to do. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I onboard my laptop. So I'll download this agent. Let's say my laptop is a non-Azure server. So I'm downloading the agent. My system is running out of space. Wow, let me check. Yeah, that is true actually. My system is running out of space. It says no space. So some virtual machine issues are there. That's okay, I'll manage. But this is how you do it actually. So you will, all you need to do is just download this agent, download this workspace ID and primary key, and these two pieces of information you will need on the server. So while you install the agent, it will ask you for workspace ID and primary key, and the server will be onboarded into the log analytics workspace. And from there, it will get onboarded into Defender for Cloud. And from the same log analytics workspace, because this workspace is also added to Sentinel, the server will also be onboarded to Sentinel. So why I am configuring multiple services together today, because I want you to understand, guys, that these all services are from Microsoft. And if you configure, and you don't have to configure one service at a time. When you configure, you can configure multiple services in the same, at the same time, because the configuration is redundant. So you don't want to waste time. Make sense? Are you with me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So this is how we onboard non-Azure servers on Defender if you want to onboard Defender for Cloud. All right. You can also onboard Azure Application Gateway, the web solution, into Defender for Cloud. And you can also onboard partner solutions in Defender for Cloud. It gives you a lot of capabilities actually. So we'll talk about these capabilities in detail as we proceed further. Now, another thing that you need to remember is some additional things that you can see here. It says you can also add, Microsoft Purview here. You can also, I'm saying Defender for Cloud, you can add your AWS account, your GCP projects, your GitHub connectors, Azure DevOps. I will show you how to add AWS tomorrow. I've got access to AWS, so I will show you how to add. It says data sensitivity. You can configure these settings. You can direct onboarding. It says onboard non-Azure servers directly with Defender for Endpoint. This is another feature. If you already have servers onboarded in Defender for Endpoint, you can directly integrate Defender for Endpoint with this. I'm saying you can directly integrate Defender for Endpoint with Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which means any endpoint that has been added to Defender for Endpoint will automatically get added to Defender for Cloud. That's how these solutions are collaborating. So I can just enable direct onboarding and select the subscription here, which is my Azure Pass, and save it. So what I am just doing now, any server that I will onboard in Defender for Endpoint, that will automatically get onboarded into Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And since Microsoft Defender for Cloud is using a workspace, which is also onboarded into Sentinel, what will happen? The server will automatically be protected by Sentinel also. Now I got some error. Let me see what that error is. It says fail. Administrator directory role, AAD security admin, and subscription owner role are required. So what it says, I will not allow you to perform this activity from this account admin, which is a default admin account. I will need to, if I want this capability to be done, I will need to log in with my Defender for XDR. So I have Defender for XDR configured here. In Defender for XDR, I can go to Azure portal. Here I can go to Defender for Cloud. Over here, I will click on environmental settings. I will click on direct onboarding, and here I will onboard it. Because this account has both required permissions. So I'll select the account and save it. This will work here. So the more you work with Azure portal, the more comfort level you will get, and you will be quickly able to figure out when things do not work as expected. By reading the error logs, you will know, okay, this is an account related issue. This is a permission related issue. This is some configuration related issue. See, now this got onboarded, successfully configured, because this account has access. This account is a global admin, and this account is also owner on Azure. So I have configured this setting. Now I can go back to my other account, other site. There I will have it. There I can see it. So if I come to the other side, and if I go to Defender for Cloud, go to environment settings and come back here, I will see it configured already. See, it's configured. It says direct onboarding on, it's already configured. So automatically my non-Azure servers will be onboarded to Defender for servers using Defender for endpoint agent. After enabling this setting, non-Azure servers onboarded to Defender for endpoint on this tenant be reflected and built under a designated Azure subscription. So it says if Defender for servers is off for this subscription, Defender for server P1 will be enabled. But I know that Defender for server is already enabled, which we have done it here. You can see here in this subscription, if I click on edit settings, I will see that Defender for server is already enabled. You can see Defender for server is already enabled. So this is how you enable the configuration. So we have enabled the Defender. We have enabled the following plan. We have also enabled Defender for non-Azure servers. We have also integration. We have also integrate Defender for, we have integrated Microsoft Defender for endpoint with Microsoft Defender for cloud. That's the integration that we did with that activity. So this is the integration part. Are you with me, guys, on this? Guys, let me know if you feel that this is overwhelming, because throughout the day we were doing configurations. I want you to remember this activity. I want you to make sure that you have done it, because the remaining 6-7 days, we will reuse this configuration. We'll spend 1 or 2 days in configuration and the remaining time in the configuring the use cases, simulating security incidents and attacks, and then fixing it. That's the game plan for the remainder of the training. So if you're not sure about this configuration part, if you're lagging behind, then trust me, you will lag behind the entire week. So I want you all on the same page. Ask me questions 100 times if you're not sure, but please make sure that we all are on the same page.
Raghuveer, for this MDFC, we have onboarded the CWP and CSPM components to it, right? But
Yep.
those seven virtual machines, are they also individually integrated with MDFC?
Yeah, they are now integrated. That's what I'm saying. So if you go here, I'm saying now that Defender is enabled, I'll just refresh my screen one last time. You all will start to see it here. See, you will definitely need to do additional configuration. But if I go to cloud security, over here it says workload protection. This is the feature. When you click on this workload protection feature, you will see all the virtual machines added here. So you can see a total of 7 servers are added. A total of 5 storage accounts are added. There is no key vault here. That's the reason it says upgrade, because you have not enabled that plan. And resource manager is also added. So you see over here, 7 virtual machines. Now what it says that these 7 virtual machines are not, they are enabled for security from Defender perspective. But then you have additional feature, which is vulnerability management. So what it says that these 7 virtual machines should also have a vulnerability management solution. That's what Defender is asking you to do, right? And if you come here, over here, if you see, just refresh it. It's not coming. So you will need to enable vulnerability management solution here. Now, what are we going to do? There are multiple options. So Microsoft has a tie-up with the Qualys also. We can also enable Qualys solutions affected resources here. So you see all 7 virtual machines, they don't have it says unhealthy resources. Why? Because they don't have vulnerability management. What we can do, we can select them all and click on fix. When we click on fix, it will say, okay, tell me what kind of vulnerability management solution you want to use. Do you want to enable Microsoft Defender native vulnerability management solution, which is already included with your plan, which is Microsoft Defender for server? Or do you want to deploy a third-party solution? So if I say I want to deploy a third party, then it will say, okay, which one? Rapid7 or Qualys? Because Defender has integration with these 2 solutions. I'll say I want to do Qualys. Then it will proceed. Then it will ask me additional information. Okay, you want to do Qualys? Tell me the license code of Qualys and public key. Now this you will get from Qualys Guard portal. So you go to Qualys Guard portal. There you will find an option to integrate services. There you will see the license code and public key for Qualys. So you will deploy this license code and public key here and click OK. And what will happen? With the same license code and public key, all these 7 virtual machines will have Qualys agent deployed on it, and then you can see these virtual machines reflecting in Qualys portal. That's one option. Something that I will not recommend. I will recommend you the first option, which is let's enable the vulnerability management using Microsoft Defender for vulnerability management. That's one option that you can exercise here. Or you also have another capability, which is here. Under settings in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Defender for Endpoint also has a vulnerability management capability now. So let it load. In Defender for Endpoint here, you see this vulnerability management. You can also do the part here. So you can also see dashboard here, which shows you the vulnerability management part. So you can also enable the vulnerability management from here. So you have 2 options here. Either you do it from the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, or either you do this vulnerability management from here also. Now you understand that you have redundant services, and probably you first started with Defender for Cloud. You paid the license. Then you first started with Entra ID Premium. Then you started with Defender. Then later on you realized that you need more capability. Then you started with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Now what is happening here? Defender for Endpoint. What is happening here? You're paying the license cost for 3 different products, while the Microsoft 365 Defender included all the solutions in one product. That's how a customer ends up paying more than what is actually needed when they go step by step and onboard solutions one after another, and they don't seek assistance from an external consultant, because Microsoft will never ever tell them that you are paying more. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Great. So let's do it from Defender vulnerability management. So you can see when you select the first radio button, it says, okay, let's fix all the VMs. So it will fix all 7 resources. Now, it doesn't mean that any new VM that you will provision from this moment onward in the subscription will automatically protected or automatically onboarded for vulnerability management protection also. No, you need to do it manually. Every time you will come to cloud workload protection, you will see any unhealthy resource. You will need to select that resource and fix it. It's not automated. Now, as soon as the vulnerability management solution is deployed on all the 3 VMs, which is nothing but the same agent of Defender will get additional instructions or additional line of code from Defender portal that from today onwards you also need to look for these additional things. So as soon as this is done, this says remediation successful. If you refresh your screen, they will move to healthy resources. All of these VMs will move to healthy resources. It doesn't happen so quickly.
But essentially, they are just being monitored for vulnerabilities. It doesn't mean that they don't have vulnerabilities, right? So they are actually not healthy. Now we'll have the visibility of the vulnerabilities they may have, right?
Absolutely. So if you don't deploy vulnerability management solution on the VM, which is by default included in $15 per month that you pay to Defender, then the vulnerabilities will not be discovered on the VM, right? So when you deploy vulnerability management solution, see, at the end of the day, everything is programmed. In the backend, it's a software. So vulnerability management has some additional libraries, additional capabilities. Those capabilities or libraries will be forwarded to the agent, which is running on the VM. And then agent will know that while I analyze this endpoint, I will also need to analyze these additional things, which is I will need to look for network vulnerability. I will need to look for application vulnerability. I will need to look for a system vulnerability. That's what it will start to do. That's what vulnerability management is all about, right?
Yeah.
And once there are vulnerabilities, they will be shown as incidents or findings. So for example, I'm saying right now this has not refreshed. That's the reason you see it here. But when you go back home, this is where Defender will show you. So once you have everything configured in Defender, when you go to workload protection here, you will start to see the findings here, security alerts here. And when you click on those security alerts, when the security alerts will start to come, when you click on them, then it will tell you whether the alert is related to some vulnerability, whether the alert is related to some other security discovery that it has done. So that's how it is. The more you, I'm saying, practice is the key here. I've been working with these solutions for the last, I'm saying, ever since they have been introduced. Take it this way. So I'm more comfortable with these portals. If I don't find something, I don't feel bad. I don't feel hesitated. It only takes me a couple of minutes to navigate here and there and find the right place where that solution is. Or I will quickly find out whether that solution is deprecated. If I find something new, it will hardly take me a couple of minutes to figure out what that new capability is and what additional value add it will do for my clients. And accordingly, I will suggest it to the customers. Sometimes I'm proactive. I myself approach my clients and say, hey, you know what, this product has new capability. Let's enable it. It doesn't cost us a single penny. Sometimes my client approaches me and say, hey, you know what, we noticed a pop-up which is talking about a new capability. Do you know anything about it? Is it viable for us? Will it add any value add for us? So it's an ongoing process. That's all about, you know, security. I'm saying working in a security domain. Okay. So that's how it is. So we have enabled these plans. We will continue with additional capabilities under workload protections like file integrity monitoring, just-in-time access, and other capabilities that we have enabled in the next course of action of this training. So this is what we have enabled. I'll take a pause here. I will not enable additional things. We have enabled whatever. We'll continue with that. and tomorrow we'll continue with rest of the configuration. So once again, let me see the status of my data connectors. Probably there is some change here. Great. Okay. So you can see Azure activity, Azure storage account, Microsoft Entra ID, all are showing as green. That's exactly what I wanted. And this Defender part is not working. Why? Because I did not configure it. Now I can configure the Defender part. Since my Defender plan is enabled, I'll go back to Content Hub once again. I'll go to my installed solutions. This is where Defender is. I'll select my solution. I'll go to Manage. And over here, first I'll try this one tenant wide now, see if it works. Open connector page. Great, it is working now. So it is working. So what I will do, I will directly configure this one because all subscriptions are part of the tenant. So if I configure it at the tenant level, automatically all the subscriptions that I have today and any additional subscription that I will have tomorrow added to my account will be added. So I'll connect it. So all I need to do is hit connect. It will quickly see whether I have Defender for Cloud Services enabled in my in all my subscriptions which are connected to this tenant, and it will enable it. See, it's just one click. It says it's enabled. It says connected successfully. It says your tenant is successfully connected to Microsoft Defender for Cloud. That's it. So it's connected here. I will go back, and probably when we resume the session tomorrow, you will see that in my Microsoft Sentinel data connectors, I will also see the tenant one. This part in green. This part will remain. This part will remain faded. So if I want to fix this part also, I'll go to Content Hub. And I'll fix that part also. So I'll go to Defender for Cloud once again. Click on Manage. This part I have configured. The tenant based, I'll go to subscription based now. Click on Open Connector page. And all I need to do is this, which is I need to select my subscription. And I need to select the status as connected. My plan is already enabled, so it will not go disconnected. It is going disconnected once again. Probably it will get connected only when I enable all the plans. So I don't want this to go like that. So I'll hit connect once again and see if it is connecting. It says the connector can only be enabled on subscriptions that have at least one Defender plan enabled, which is true in our case, and only by users with contributor permissions on the subscription, which is also the case here. You can see Dev Sharma has contributor permission, but it is not doing it like that. So I can probably go to my other account, the Defender one, the Defender account, and from here I can give it a try. Because account admin account should not be used for any security configuration. So here I'll go to Sentinel. Prod workspace. Content Hub. I'll click on Install Solutions. Click on Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Manage. Select this subscription based. See, the other one that I've just configured is showing now in use, which means this is perfectly working fine. And when the tenant one is working fine, there is no point of enabling at the subscription level, but still I'm showing you how it is done. Okay, it's already enabled. You can see bidirectional is enabled now. So I'll click on connect. And this information is coming from the previous tenant-wise configuration. So it says this is also connected. See, it's gone green. It's enabled and connected. That's it. It says create incidents recommended. No. So we are good with this configuration also. So we have done a lot of configuration today, guys. If I refresh the screen, you will see it enabled now. So what did you learn today? That you should not be using account admin credential for these security configurations because Azure doesn't recommend it. Use your Defender account for all the configurations that will work in parallel. See, you can see it's enabled now. It's enabled. Some plan is enabled. Bidirectional sync is enabled. So in some time on my Sentinel portal, I will see all 5 green, all 5 connectors green. And as part of day-to-day operational activities on Sentinel, the job of admin is to ensure that all data connectors are green. See, all are green now. Are you with me, guys, on this? I see all green, and it has automatically added Microsoft Defender for XDR. I did not add it. Why it has added? Because the configuration that I've done in the Defender for Cloud, that non-Azure server, the integrating the workspace, all that, XDR is part of it. Now, tomorrow I'll do the theoretical explanation of what XDR is. Then you will understand that is this a technology or is this just a collection of a suite of products that you work that collaborate together to provide you a comprehensive experience. So all are green, which means we have achieved the objective for today. Even if they did not come green, I would still consider that I have achieved because I've done this a minimum of 500 times so far. So I know that this will go green in some time. So all are green for me. Probably some of it is not green for you. Don't feel bad about it. Just leave your systems running for some time. It will come green. Okay. Great, guys. I will not, I'm say this is all for today. Let's not add anything else. I'll share what we have done today so that you have a reference. Recording you will get for sure today itself. In next couple of hours, it will be, it will be available on the available in SharePoint that you can access. But I'm sharing this, I'm just taking the screenshot as a reference, the services that we have enabled today. This automatically came, this we enabled, and these we enabled. I'll put that into chat window for your reference. I'll also put that into the document as part of the enablement. Tomorrow we'll continue with this activity from here itself.